nobody's in here right now. It's going to take me about a minute or two to get it up. So if you're watching right now, you're watching a show where nobody's in. So you're in the reruns. Type that in the comments. Give me a minute to get the show going and we'll have it happen momentarily. All right. So we're going to be talking about the Save America Act and um, the Iran deal continues, but there's more to go. So give me a second and we'll get the show going momentarily. Get this platform going. We're going to soon make it, like I said, for some of you folks. And Ezra, appreciate you giving me the thumbs up on the audio. Thank you. I believe we're going to soon have it where all of this is one camera and you won't have the reversed text in the background. I think I found a way to get this going right. I'll be the first to admit I'm not super tech savvy, but I got access to somebody that is. So hopefully I can soon give you folks a better product. So that is in the works where we're going to have it all one camera angle. And of course, all the screens will be mirrored properly. So that's been a thorn by my side since day one. So because all the platforms do not let you mirror the screens, right? So hopefully we can get that going soon. Good evening, Vincent LaCroix. Good evening to you. So almost here. Let me go ahead and start the other platforms up while I'm getting this last one going. And we'll have the show going momentarily. We're going to be on all of our traditional platforms: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Substack, and Clapper. So how many of you folks are aware of the Save America Act? Good afternoon, Evo B. Bye. Boom. Shout out to you. Good evening to you. How many of you folks are aware of the Save America Act? And if you are, is it something that you favor? Do you favor the Save America Act? That is obviously something Trump, appreciate that NV, what is it, says NVO1369. Thank you for that flow state. Thank you very much. How many of you folks favor that? The Save America Act that Trump has been trying to promote for quite a while. Well, we're going to talk about the Save America Act because he did get shot down today, at least partially. Now, Trump has already posted a message stating that you're going to have to show an ID to vote, whether Congress says so or not. So Trump took to social media and basically stated it does not matter what the law says. You are going to have to show an ID. He's going to make it so you have to show an ID to vote no matter what. Now, I want to make something clear. I don't have a problem with requiring an ID to vote. I don't see nothing wrong with requiring an ID for citizens to vote. The problem, I believe, with the Save America Act is it does a lot more than just require an ID. And then, of course, there are there's anti-LGBTQ stuff or trans stuff in there as well that has nothing to do with voting. So there's more to it than that. But in regards to requiring an ID to vote, I don't see any problem with that. I'm thinking that's okay. Nothing he does is good, says everyone. Well, he secured the border. Trump secured the border. Is that not good? I mean, give him credit for at least that. He did secure the border. I'm having some trouble with my YouTube stream. I may have to end up resetting it, but he secured the border. But I want to give you a court ruling that Trump suffered, I believe it was today, in regards to he's comprising voter rolls and information. And I'm going to tell you, some of this shit just looks shaky. If you ask me, some of this stuff is worthy of questioning just because of how things are going. I want you to see if I can bring this clip up. I want you to hear this. This is what just came down the pipe earlier today.
We want to stay on the topic of elections. Another live look at Capitol Hill now. The news coming down today a federal judge has blocked a Trump administration initiative to use a revamped immigration database in order to check voters' citizenship statuses. We have this from the Associated Press with that breaking news saying a federal judge blocked the use of that federal database to check citizenship, saying that it could wrongfully purge voters. That judge ruling that the SAVE database violates federal privacy laws. This ruling comes following arguments from rights groups that the system relied on inaccurate data.
And just real quick, 'cause I'm gonna play some more of this, but the inaccurate data part. This is the issue I believe that everybody has with the Save America Act, is that it's not just designed to only ensure U.S. citizens vote. It appears to be designed to prevent some U.S. citizens from voting. It appears that it's going to prevent legal voters from being able to vote at all. And that is what is pissing people off, is that it appears as if what Trump is doing is going to prevent legal voters from being able to vote. If it was just about requiring an ID, like I said, I don't personally see any issue with requiring a person to show an ID to vote, but it seems like there may be more to it may be more than meets the eye with President Trump. I'll give you a real quick rundown on this Save America Act. Just 5 bullet points, 5 provisions. All voters must show a voter ID. Who disagrees with that? Who would disagree with that? I don't see any reason to do. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. Here's where you're starting to lose me. If I got to show an ID, why am I required to show proof of citizenship? If I got to show proof of citizenship, why am I required to show an ID? One of those should be enough. One of those should be enough. So, look, they want proof of citizenship, then they want you to also show an ID. I mean, you could be a citizen that's not registered to vote. So, looking for. Number 3, no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. As someone who leans left, I vehemently disagree with that one, because I have not seen any significant evidence to suggest that that should go away. The only thing I see wrong with mail-in voting is that it's done mostly by Democrats. So if you eliminate mail-in voting, you are targeting the way mostly Democrats vote. So I can see where it would be favorable to Republicans. But in terms of stopping fraud, I don't see any evidence to suggest, and listen, the Trump administration has had years to do this. I haven't seen any level of evidence coming from the Trump administration to suggest that people are using mail-in voting to commit acts of fraud. He's had several years to do that. Now, number 4 and 5 of the Save America Act, my humble opinion, they really taint the act. They really draw unnecessary attention that is negative to getting the Save America Act passed. Number 4 is no men in women's sports. Why the hell is that in an act that's supposed to be securing voting? No men in women's sports. This should be a separate act, because I'll tell you why. Before I tell you why, I'll give you number 5. No transgender mutilation surgery for children. I'm not against either one of these things. I'm not against preventing men from playing against women in sports. I think that makes sense. I don't believe a child should have transgender mutilation surgery either. But if the goal is to save America in terms of voting, why the hell is this stuff in there? Do that in something separate. I'll tell you why. Because there may be folks like Caitlyn Jenner, the well-known, probably the most well-known transgender person in America, who happens to be MAGA, by the way, formerly known as Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. That person is MAGA. This anti-trans shit that's in here might actually, ostracize a few trans votes. Why put this in this act? If you want to prevent men from playing in women's sports and children from having mutilation or surgery, that should be a whole separate act, a separate bill. Why is that in this? Why throw some anti-trans shit in it? Even if it's something that sounds legitimate, it doesn't have to be in this. So to me, number 4 and 5 just should not be in here. And I'm going to make a good argument that number 3, no mail-in ballots, there's going to be a lot of folks that don't agree with that as well. I get that the Trump administration is indicating a lot of people use mail-in ballots to commit acts of fraud. Fine. Show evidence of it. In fact, I'll tell you this, I believe this whole Save America Act provision or this bill could get a lot more support if many of Trump's claims came with evidence. Prove why this is needed, and I think a lot more people would agree with President Trump. But as we speak right now, I don't think he's done a good job at that at all. I don't think he's proven any of this stuff. So, even when it comes to people voting without IDs and non-citizens voting, just show us some folks. I mean, Trump's been the president now. He's been the commander-in-chief of this great nation for 6 years now. Almost 6 years Trump has been in the White House. Show us some arrests. How many people have you caught trying to vote without an ID or with a fake ID or that's a non-citizen? Show us some data that backs up your case. You'd get a lot more support. Just show us some people you caught doing it. Then it would make more sense. I think you would get more independence, and even some liberals like myself that would be like, yeah, listen, it makes sense to me if you could show that. But right now, with the Save America Act, in my opinion, sounds more like a solution
and risked disenfranchising eligible citizens. Now, for more on this, we want to bring in...
Sounds like a solution in search of a problem. Real quick, before we continue and start taking calls and all that, by the way, tap the screen, get us up to 10,000. You know how we do it. I do want you to hear one of the pundits on here explaining a little bit about the Save America Act, why the judge blocked him from basically collecting a federal database of who vote, a database of citizens, a database of who's voting, and why many folks are against this. What could actually go wrong? If you want to just if you just want to make sure legal people vote, what the hell could actually go wrong? I want you to hear this clip because I think this gives you the perfect example of that. If I can get my damn screen to work right.
Trump administration, when executive orders came out about these voter rolls and save information, I asked them how this information would not violate the Privacy Act of 1974, and they refused flat out to answer that question. So this has been a concern that they have been confronted with for quite a long time, and they've never had a satisfying answer, and it doesn't seem like they gave the court one either.
And Jessica, even before this ruling came down, the SAVE database has already been in use. So which states have already been using this database to purge some people off of their voter lists? And have we seen any examples of people who are actually eligible to vote being taken off the voter roll because of this database?
Yes, we have. The case most specifically references Texas, which is actually the state that I am broadcasting to you from. And Texas really embraced the SAVE database full-throatedly, and we're running people against it a lot. And so what they would do is they would reach out to the people whose names match and say, you have 30 days to prove your citizenship. And if they didn't in those 30 days, they were removed from the roll. And what we know about the SAVE database is a couple of things. It contains a lot of false positives. You would be surprised at how many people's names match other people's names. It's not hard to do, but also, and most crucially, this is not an up-to-date list. This is not automatically generated. It does not automatically update when someone's citizenship status changes.
So now, you hear all those problems she's saying? Is that, first of all, they send you a letter and give you 30 days to prove that you're a citizen. If you can't prove it, they take your right to vote away. So obviously that's going to cause some legitimate people who actually have a right to vote to lose their rights. Maybe you didn't get the letter. Maybe you were out of town. Maybe you moved and went to the wrong address. Maybe it got lost in the mail. There's a host of reasons for why you may not have gotten that letter and did what was necessary in 30 days before they've taken your name off the voter rolls. This right here, this aggressive tactic, This is why a lot of folks are not in favor of this. 30 days? That's it. You get 30. So listen, it may if you live in a different city, it may take you time to get your birth certificate information back. 30 days is not a lot of time. You got to get that letter, start acting, mailing out whatever you need to do, get a response, and get that response to them in 30 days. Otherwise, you're not allowed to vote again. And then, of course, once they take you off the rolls, what is the process to get back on? There's tons of room for stuff to go wrong with this. This is why folks are not in favor of this Save America Act. Is because there's a good chance more folks, more legal, legitimate voters are going to be harmed by this than illegal voters prevented from voting. It's going to hurt more people that should be voting than prevent folks who should not be voting from voting. That's what I'm going to look at it like that. In the comments, Carmel says, this is such bullshit. Every other country has figured it out just fine. I don't believe you need an ID or I don't believe you go through all of this to vote in every other country. I believe what we're doing here in America is above and beyond what you do in most other countries. I don't believe they make you go through all of these hurdles to be able to vote like that, where they're threatening to take your name off the voter rolls in 30 days and all of this. That is something unique to America, sounds like. You're okay with showing ID for everything but voting? Gotcha. Bullshit. I'm not okay with all this other stuff. Taking your name off the voter rolls in only 30 days? I'm not. Where else are they doing that? Where else is that happening at? I think even if your driver's license is suspended, they give you more time than that to correct it. No, they moving a bit too fast on this. That's the point we're making. We'll go straight to the box. We'll make it happen with Jeremy. Good evening, Jeremy. Welcome to the program. Now, Jeremy, if I'm correct, you're in favor of the Save America Act, right?
Oh, you dirty communist. How dare you have objections to legitimate questions? How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm more in favor of it than not, but I really think that it should be line vetoed.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a difference between a veto and a line veto.
Okay.
Like a line veto, you can take off specific areas.
Right.
I know Trump won't do it, but I think we could veto certain parts of it that don't have anything to do with the actual voter ID. So a good example of this would be the transgender stuff. I do agree that should be a separate bill.
Yeah.
Now, I also think that we can agree that we don't want somebody whose brain is still developing to make those kind of decisions for themselves at such a young age. But, especially with the permanent physical effects that it could have. But that's a completely separate issue. That would be like me saying, hey, guys, you want to start a neighborhood watch to stop criminals? Sure. Also, could you make sure that Uncle Bill gives me back my $50 I gave him? I was like, wait, what the hell does that have to do with the neighborhood watch?
I don't know why they put those two transgender issues in the Save America Act. To me, that just because you may have some right-leaning members of the trans community that also agree with requiring an ID to vote, but now you're ostracizing them with this anti-trans stuff.
Yeah, and even whether or not you agree with the trans stuff or not, and also I like to say that there needs to be more research into the actual brain chemistry of people who have that affliction, who have that kind of stuff. I just think that it's okay to say we need to have fair and legitimate elections. We don't want to turn into South America or any other third world nation that's full of corruption where there could be tampering with the votes. But there's a way of doing it right.
Well, first of all, let me make it clear. When you start talking about, analyzing the brain and things like that, the right is anti-trans. So there's no study that's going to make the right come around. The right side of the aisle is an anti-trans party. So it doesn't matter if you're a juvenile. It doesn't matter if you're an adult. It doesn't matter if you're elderly. They are anti-trans, period. So there's no need to really even go back and forth on that.
Tim, we know that's not true. We know that's what the lowest common. Yeah, I say that because that's the same thing as saying, the left is pro child murder. You don't think the right?
Just so I can get clarity, you do not believe the right is anti-trans?
No, because that's a very, very bland and I should say very low level of thought process that is the worst. That would be like me saying like, oh, the Democrats are pro murdering children because they believe in abortion. And okay, we know that's not true because the conversation is more nuanced than that. It's only the lowest level bad representation of the party that you're giving when you have that kind of view of somebody else.
The way they acted with Bud Light, President Trump stated he was going to ask Congress that you have to go by the gender of birth on your birth certificate. According to President Trump, you could not even be allowed to transition in the eyes of government. How more anti-trans can you be than that?
Well, hold on. Anti-trans, just because you want rules doesn't mean that you, as a whole, you hate trans people. That would be like saying, like, you know, because the Democrats just don't want to punish a woman for like making a hard decision and to choose to terminate her child. That's the same thing as saying, oh, we should be able to commit infanticide. That's not the same thing.
I don't get that. Wait, here's what I'm saying. If the president says, I'm going to have Congress declare that you can only go by the gender in which you were born, he is basically saying, as far as government is concerned, we will not allow you to transition. How could that not be anti-trans?
But that doesn't necessarily mean you can transition. It just
we're not going to recognize you on any government document as what you're claiming. We're not going to let you do it. How could that not be anti-trans?
Well, let me explain why. So here's the thing. When it comes to when someone transitions, there's something we have to acknowledge. It's mostly cosmetic. Your genes stay the same. Your chromosomes stay the same. You're mostly just getting what's mostly cosmetic. It's on the outside. It's external. It doesn't really change into the fact that you are a man who's identifying as a woman. And I'm more than willing to like call someone a she, but that's more of a formality.
Okay, let me play this for you because I see even in the comments, JJ says you're lying because he said the government not going to pay for it. I want you to hear exactly what he said, Jeremy.
Sure.
So end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer
now,
race.
This isn't exactly the clip, but he said there's only going to be two genders. Is that not anti-trans?
Well, but trans doesn't mean you believe in 32 different genders. It means that you believe you're going from gender A to gender B.
Okay, but if you can't do that, if he says you can only go by what's on the birth certificate, I don't understand that.
So let me say it again, okay? If you're transitioning from gender A to gender B, recognizing that there's only two is not.
But if he says he's going to tell Congress, that you got to go by the gender on your birth certificate. And by the way, what is it? Caitlyn Jenner is claiming that she cannot travel internationally anymore because they will not put female on her passport. How is that not anti-trans? Caitlyn obviously wants to be a female. They refuse to put female on her passport. You don't see that as being anti-trans?
I don't, and here's why. Now,
before you answer that, what would being anti-trans mean to you?
It would mean outlawing the surgery itself. It would mean in that you could actually be jailed for asking people to address you by certain pronouns. So even if you're not forcing them to with force, even if you're just asking, hey, I prefer to be called Deborah.
There was plenty of time in this country where you couldn't be jailed for being black, but the country was still anti-black. I don't know why you're throwing. You say you got to outlaw it. I mean, they didn't outlaw black people, yet the country was anti-black. You just have hurdles in the way for them to be who they want to be.
Tim, you're now you're kind of switching the goalpost.
I just asked you what is anti. You said they got to actually.
I'm answering your question, but you're kind of changing it up now. Now what you're doing is you're going from asking me what's an anti-trans policy to what is an anti-trans attitude of the general populace. Those are two different things.
So do you think this government is pro-trans, friendly to trans, neutral with trans, treat them like everybody else?
It's a mixed bag. It depends on who you're talking to.
Let's start with the president.
I'd say the president is anti-trans. Some Republicans are okay with trans people, but they're against certain types of trans ideology. And then the Democrats tend to be pro-trans, but with some limitations.
That's a mouthful.
So it depends on who you're talking to.
Huh?
So it depends on who you're talking to. But again, there's more camps that are more nuanced in the conservative right-wing inside of things than just all trans people are the devil and they want to hurt your kids. And again, you got to look at them all.
That is what they're saying.
One of the problems, Tim, I have with one of the problems that I have with some of what you say, Tim, is that you just say the president said this, so automatically everyone who's an elected official or a major influencer online with a large following who's on the right thinks exactly like the president.
Yeah, I mean, how many folks call the Democrats socialists or say the Democrats don't know what a woman is? Yeah, they're taking the word of a few members of the Democrat Party and branding everybody with it. That's what people do.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you let them do that without us like pushback. That doesn't mean that we just give in to that kind of ideology. Like I used to be one of those people who would they just say, yeah, Democrats are socialists. Then I realized, no, and I have friends who are Democrats who don't like socialism, who have seen what the USSR did, who have seen what Mao, China, and Cambodia did, who have seen all the different iterations of socialism and communism and how they've all completely failed and harmed and murdered thousands of people, and they don't like it. You see, Tim. You're just going off of like what the lowest IQ conversation.
I'm going off the president of the United States, sir. The leader of your party, the folks, well, your side of the aisle, rather. Your side of the aisle was saying they want this guy for a third term. I'm going by that.
A lot of people don't want him anymore, including me.
Well, you're not loud enough.
And
You guys are not loud enough.
Yeah, but Tim, I think this is preventing us from having deeper conversations, and by saying things that are just objectively just feelings and rather than facts.
What's preventing us from having a deeper conversation is the fact that most of your party is not speaking out.
Well, again, and when it comes to the whole SAVE Act, I do want to get back to the SAVE Act. Okay, I just feel that it's I say something like, yeah, there doesn't need to be that trans part of the bill. That could be a separate bill onto itself.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden you're like, but what about other people that aren't you, Jeremy?
Okay, wait. Let's just get into the bill. We get off the trans stuff because you and I both agree it shouldn't be in the Save America Act to begin with. But in regards to the act, no mail-in voting. What say you?
I say that it sounds pretty reasonable, because they have the right exceptions. But the thing is, I'm not completely on board with it. I'm kind of like feelings on it. I'm more leaning towards yes. But the reason why is because absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Have you ever heard that before?
I know what you mean. I may have heard it once or twice, but I know what you're saying. But I'm just going to say President Trump's been president for nearly 6 years. If this stuff is happening, why can't we demand he show more evidence?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think our president is the best and most competent representation of the right's ideas as a whole. Unfortunately,
without him, this wouldn't be happening, Jeremy. Without him, this whole Save America Act stuff, there was nobody. You didn't have any president or major person in leadership talking about getting rid of mail-in voting until he came along. He has sparked more claims of election fraud than any other leader in our entire nation's history. That's all he talks about is people cheating in elections and provides little to no proof of it whatsoever.
Yeah, I understand that, but just because somebody is the loudest voice doesn't mean that they're always the smartest voice. And in fact, sometimes the reason why they are the loudest voice is because the opposition sees them and sees how bad their arguments are and makes a big deal out of it. Part of the reason why Trump even won the 2016 election is because he said things that were considered completely unkosher to the right wing. You know, like there were Republicans and Democrats both saying he's horrible, and it got him so much media attention that it rose him in the polls. And then eventually he slid on that all the way into the White House.
I mean, I think he was a good candidate. I think he knew what to say to get people behind him. I think Trump was a really good candidate, and it helped that he ran against two candidates that were deeply flawed. One being Hillary Clinton and all the baggage that Hillary Clinton had with her, and a country that is somewhat sexist. The country is also sexist. He ran against two women. And then, of course, he runs against Kamala Harris, who was dealing with a president that was, dementia-ridden apparently and was not capable of doing a full term. And then she comes at only 107 days. So he ran against two candidates that were fairly well handicapped.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that's the entire reason. And
no, it's not the entire reason, but it helped.
I think a bigger reason is because he got attention. Have you ever read Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power?
No.
You should. One of the sixth law is court attention at all costs. What is seen and what is unseen counts for nothing. So Trump is really, really good at that. Now we could go on and about how he got elected. When it comes to his ideas, he's not the best representative of those ideas. There are the people who are much more intelligent, who are like or statisticians, and that know much more about this kind of thing than Trump does.
I don't think it's necessary, Jeremy. I think when you got an audience of folks who will believe anything you say at face value, you don't need any data, statisticians, or anything. I mean, Trump could get out there and say, I could nuke a hurricane, and they'll just believe it. I mean, they're believing a lot of stuff. A lot of things that we're arguing about in this country, whether it's people eating cats and dogs or immigrants raping and murdering, a lot of this stuff is just Trump making it up. He ain't presenting any evidence to this stuff. He just say something and they just believe it. Like the Save America Act. Most of this stuff is meant to fight something, to combat something that Trump says is happening that he hasn't provided any proof of.
Again, Trump. Again, okay. See, I'm going to just try.
That is why everybody is acting. You can't take Trump out of the conversation, Jeremy. He's what's fueling all of this.
Yeah, but you're asking me about whether I like the policy or not specifically the part.
All right, give me your answer.
Well, the part where I don't like mail-in voting. I'm telling you, even if Trump were not the person promoting it, I would still say that we should definitely take a good look, and it seems kind of like something I'd be in favor of. Because let's say Rand Paul brought it up or someone else did. Okay? I would still say it still sounds like a kind of a good idea, because here's the thing. There are some ways that things can go wrong when it comes to things like mail-in votes. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't show up in person, that showing up in person is a really good way of saying that you can't lie. Because
that's bullshit. You never had somebody present a fake ID. I don't understand why people don't believe you can't. When it comes to voting, you can't create a fake ID. Everywhere people use IDs, whether it's to drive a car, cash a check, people have been caught using fake IDs. Why do people think when it comes to voting, IDs are going to suddenly be the accurate way to do it?
Tim, just because people do stuff from time to time doesn't mean just because, like for instance, just because a bank puts in a safety procedure and the safety procedure doesn't always 100% work doesn't mean the safety procedure isn't both necessary and useful. Apply
that same logic you just gave to mail-in voting. Just because they're this or that don't mean the safety procedure is compromised. Apply that same logic to mail-in voting. Continue.
I am. And Tim, you got to let me finish what I was trying to say.
Sure.
So what I was trying to get at is this. Okay? It's just because people can show up in person with fake IDs and try to and do all this, that, and the third to try to deceive the voting system doesn't mean that it's not more difficult when you do it in person. There's a lot of variables that you're now throwing at the person that they have to solve for in order to successfully votes fraudulently. Like, for instance, they would have to have different IDs for every polling station that they go. But dude, they couldn't go to the same polling station with different looks every time because they would get recognized eventually.
What?
No, seriously. If you have to go in person, think about it, Tim. Think about it, Pim. How different can you make yourself look to go up to the same person who has to give you your physical ballot?
What makes you think it's going to be the same person? If I decide to use my brother's ID or somebody that looked like me, or better yet, if I decide to create a fake ID so I can look like my conservative neighbor, so that I can go down there and vote liberal, I'm done with it. Once I lie and cast a vote in favor of him, okay, I don't made him a liberal. I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore. Next time I show up to vote, it's going to be at a different polling place with my own actual ID, voting on behalf of me. I'm done.
Yeah, but that's the point I just tried to make. You have to show up at a different location.
Okay.
You can't show up to the same one. And every time you do that, you're repeating the same risk that repeats every single time of getting caught. Like, for instance, then something could not line up on the paperwork. Someone could have flagged you, like a government agency could have flagged you for fraud in the past. And most people who are sophisticated enough to commit fraud in the first place on that kind of a scale, they're not first-time criminals. They're rarely ever first-time criminals. It's like people don't it's like the old phrase goes: people don't go bank robbing on a whim. They graduate to it.
Well, I'm gonna tell. I got to move it on, but I'm just going to say this: when you take in consideration the penal, better yet, the punishment for voting fraudulently, I don't think there's many people that are going to try to do that, Jeremy. I mean, you're going to in a country with 350 odd million people. You gonna risk 5 years or more in prison to cast one vote? I don't believe that, and that's why I believe Trump is having so much trouble finding proof that it's really happening to any great degree. Last word to you.
Well, here's a little food for thought, Tim. You might not be thinking about that about U.S. citizens or even illegal immigrants who just want to come here for a better life. What about foreign countries?
What about them?
What is? No. Think about it, Tim. What if Russia could get enough people to vote illegally for a candidate that's pro-Russia?
I agree. I agree with the premise of it. I agree with the premise of it. But if they can get enough people to vote to do that, and you can't catch a single one, there's a problem there. I'm just simply saying, for the allegations Trump is making based on what he's presenting in terms of evidence, if Russia could find, let's say, 20,000 people to vote, you didn't catch one of those people? That's hard to believe, Jeremy. I got to move it on, but that's hard to believe. Show me some evidence. I'll be on your side. I got to go.
Have a good day, Tim.
You too. Tap the screen and get the likes up. And let me make that clear again. I'm not totally against the provisions here in the voting or the Save America Act. Number one, all voters must show an ID to vote. I don't see any problem with that. Number two, all voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. That's where I start having a problem with it. Because in many cases, you've already proven you're a citizen to get the ID you're coming in there with. The DMV knows, anybody with a driver's license or a state ID, the DMV can tell you if that person is an American citizen like that. It would be that quick. If law enforcement called your local DMV or the Department of Motor Vehicles in your state, and they gave them your driver's license number, the DMV could tell them instantly whether or not you're a citizen. So why do you have to prove that shit at a polling place? All they got to do is link the databases up where when somebody hands a pollster their driver's license or state ID, they scan it through a machine, and the machine can tell them right off the bat if we're talking about a citizen or not. This isn't about trying to make sure a citizen votes. This is about putting additional hurdles for the voter so that maybe some voters don't negotiate the hurdles and they don't get to vote. There's no reason for you to be proving you're a citizen. They know that already. They absolutely know that already. And of course, number three is no mail-in ballots. Once again, I would be in favor of that part of the Save America Act if the folks who are saying mail-in ballots encourage or create fraud were showing proof. I don't like this whole solution in search of a problem issue. You should first have a problem and then you work on a solution. You don't create solutions before the problem even exists. That's what's happening here, is that we're doing this stuff and claiming something is happening that we can't prove is actually happening. But we can prove that some of this stuff will cause legitimate legal voters not to be able to vote. That's where you lose me at. Looking in the comments real quick, tap the screen, get us on up to 15,000. I'll take the next caller. It's as backwards, says Debbie. I 100% agree with that. By the way, folks, help your boy with the hat and mustache, TikTok, cap goals. This is the same program it always is. We're MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. You can be critical of anybody on this program, including yours truly. In the comments, as a child, what does that say? As a child, my own father wouldn't give me as many excuses as MAGA gives the daddy Trump. He's a grown man. Stop giving him excuses, says James. And I see Me Too says, like the reflecting pool. Man, that reflecting pool shit is incredible. Once again, Trump making statements, eating dogs and cats, mail-in voters are cheating, Dominion voting machine. He also is saying that vandals is the reason that pool went from blue to gray. Is there anybody who really believes that? He's saying that somebody potentially got into this reflective pool, perhaps in the middle of the night, and put a 250, and then he later upgraded it to 350 length gash in the pool. After being on television saying this pool was so tough you couldn't cut it with a knife. This is what I'm talking about, folks. I'm willing to work with Trump and agree with him on a lot of stuff if he provided proof. He says a lot of things that come with no proof. That vandal story is false. That vandal story is absolutely false. And to make it somewhat seem legit, they're starting to arrest folks. I mean, this is just a complete waste of resources and taxpayer money. Just admit you put a guy in that was an ally. The guy who was over the contract to put down the reflective pool is a big Trump donor. He got a no-bid contract. Why the hell would you need a no-bid contract for a reflective pool? No-bid contracts are usually something you give when either there's nobody else that can do the job or it's an emergency job that really needs to be done. Why the hell would painting a pool come with a no-bid contract to one of your friends? And then the friend fucks it up. You'd have did better taking time out to let the proper folks bid instead of paying this guy all this money. And now you're going to probably damn near have to double it because he fucked up the first time. That's terrible. That's terrible. And to save face, instead of admitting you hired somebody who was incompetent, you're going to try to say vandals did it. As if somebody's going to really go to that particular spot and do something like that. Considering the punishment it comes with and the fact that, how could you really be in that spot and not be on camera? You're that close to the all of these global targets, the Washington Monument or Lincoln Monument, all of that stuff's right around there. They're not going to let you walk up on all that shit and not be on camera. The idea that a vandal could do this and not be on camera, that's insane. And of course, they're asking Trump, well, can you show us any evidence? He don't have any. And he won't present any. You will not get any from him. But as I stated, there's always a engine of folks, predominantly MAGA, that are just going to believe him. There are, what does that say? There are sheep on both sides. True. But because of some of the things Trump is doing over and over again, he's making the sheep on the right stand out more. But I agree with you. There's sheep on both sides. Help your guy with the hat, mustache, TikTok, cap goals, if you will. In the comments, Trump asked his voters to vote twice in 2020 election in North Carolina. He also claimed there was widespread fraud in North Carolina. And then when he won that state, he suddenly didn't want it to be investigated or anything. So Trump is an interesting guy. We'll just say that. He can be an interesting guy sometimes, in some cases. Does that say Malik or Mike or something like that? We'll bring up the next caller and tap the screen, if you will, get us up to 15,000. Don't know what happened. I tried to bring up a caller. We'll try it again with Pobel. Good evening, Pobel. Welcome to the program. It's not rigged when he wins. That is so true. Poble, good evening.
What's up? I've been trying to get up here for a week because you've been saying some crazy stuff, man. It's hilarious.
Okay, well, first of all, you got bad audio. Are you in? You got some.
Let me get someone to him working. Oh man, can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but there's a loud background. But keep going. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So one thing what you were just talking is, I guess, Germany about,
Yeah.
and I would never agree with him or Trump. But so you sleep with trans women?
Do I? No. Why are you asking?
Yeah.
Why are you
you're
asking?
anti-trans.
You
So
said,
you're anti-trans.
no, I don't sleep with Chinese women either. I'm not anti-Chinese.
Well, because they are women.
I don't
You don't
sleep
think
with.
you
That's
would-
not my type, sir. That's not my type.
So you would never. So you said you would never sleep with a Chinese woman.
I don't know. I've never had the
Exactly,
opportunity.
but you saying you would never sleep with a trans, but you will. I'm pretty sure you would, because there's some nice looking Chinese women out there.
Okay, so what you're saying is that any man that would not sleep with a trans woman is automatically anti-trans?
Yes, because I've seen some very attractive trans women.
Let me ask that to the audience. Do you guys agree with him, yes or no, in the comments? Do you agree with what he is saying, that if you are a man and you will not sleep with a trans woman, that makes you anti-trans? Let me know in the comments how you. I don't see that one. That's kind of interesting. It's an interesting take. I'm not going to take it from you. That's an interesting way of putting that. Nobody agrees with you, though.
My problem is I agree with Donald Trump. I will not want them to change their sex on a birth certificate or their ID, because I need to know who they are. If I want to check your ID, I need to check your ID, because like I said, it's some women, some trans women out here you cannot tell. Like my brother's wife, brother, it completely changed.
Do
And I
you
didn't know.
do you normally do that when you're dating? You check women's IDs?
I'm so happy that I've been married for 23 years, because this world is ridiculous right now. You don't know what you're running up on at the nightclub. And now you're telling me I can't check her ID? I need that gold thing, like, you know, when people run around checking gold, talking about beep beep, that don't real.
Yeah.
I need to be able to point that at a bride.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Ridiculous.
I'll meet you halfway, even though I'm not with you totally. I will say that there should be a law that when it comes to dating and a trans person should have to reveal themselves. I really do believe, because it could cause a heat of passion crime or something. If you are trans and you're in clubs, as you're talking about, trying to meet people and things like that, and you know the person does not know if you're a woman or not, I do believe that you should have to reveal yourself. That I can meet you halfway there, but I don't believe in forcing them to.
It happened.
Huh?
It happened to my son and one of his friends. Yeah, they was and his friend was in the room with the trans girl, and the other guy found out that his was a trans. He ran the door, banging on his boy door, and his boy and it said that his boy was like, "What you want? What you want?" He said, "Open up the door, man. Open up the door." And he opened up the door. He said, "Did you find out yet?" And he said, "What?" And the trans, I'm telling you.
No, listen. Like I said, I'll meet you halfway. I do believe they should reveal themselves. That is not safe. That's wrong. I do this whole notion of I like turning dudes out and all of that. No, you should have to reveal yourself. That's just for safety's sake. You should have to reveal yourself. And in the comments, in the comments, Bake Boss says this guy is trolling. No, this is Poble. I assure you, this motherfucker ain't trolling. He real. This guy.
I come with facts.
He mean this. He ain't trolling. Yeah, you ain't.
I don't know what it was. I don't know what day it was. I think it was you and Mike or Stick the Ruler. When you come up there and try to say that people out there hustling is still breaking in cars.
Yeah. Well, no, but they're committing crime. Okay, let me clear it up. People hustling are still committing crimes. Maybe not low level shit like that, but they still committing crimes.
And they leave the hood. They don't stay in the hood. That's why they hustling so they can get out of the hood.
Yeah,
they ain't leaving the hood. The foot soldiers that run around in there, they're the ones with the gold chains on and the Jordans trying to look like they got money. But the one who got money, they leave the hood, Tim. That's why I said you didn't grow up in the hood, man. You
Bullshit.
like I said,
The hell
like
I
I said,
didn't.
you was in the hood because you told me you said you got a VCR. Grabbed you a couple porno tapes and looked out the window. You weren't running up and down the streets. You were just looking out. You were looking out the window at the hood. You weren't hanging out there in the hood, man.
Well,
I'm telling you.
there's some validity to that. I grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
Most all of my childhood and a large chunk of my adult life. I was living in the hood on the south side of Chicago. I just wasn't involved in hood tactics. So no, I may not be able to recite everything they did because I got an education. I was catching the bus at 5 in the morning to go get my degree, and I was all of the riffraff was happening around me. I just didn't partake in any of it.
You remember as a young kid, you said your dad got y'all out of the hood. That's why he kept a hard head.
No,
in the back window.
yeah, and because when they divorced, we went back to the hood. So there's more to that story, sir.
Oh, you didn't stay out. You moved a little bit. Hold up now.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to mess you up now because this is really why I came up here.
Sure.
And I've been trying to get him for a while.
Sure.
When you were talking about the Carmelo Anthony,
Mm-hmm.
you said he is guilty. He is guilty. Now, you almost cried like a baby when they put Daniel Penny. They didn't even put him in jail. They gave him a felon. That's all they did for him, unaliving the guy on the train that was just running around.
I almost cried.
Out loud. Yeah, girl, you were like, oh my God, he got a felon. He's not gonna be able to get a job. He ain't gonna. They shouldn't give him a felon because now he's not gonna be able to work anywhere. He won't get a job. He won't be able to do anything with that felon on his record. They shouldn't put a felon on his. The man didn't do no time for unaliving.
I
And
think
you was okay with that, but this guy, you're not okay with.
you putting Daniel.
Why is that, Tim?
You're putting Daniel Penny, the guy who put the guy in a chokehold, who was actually a bad guy on the subway. You're putting Daniel Penny and Carmelo
He
Anthony in
wasn't a
the
bad
same
guy.
category.
What did he do bad? What did he do bad?
I don't
other
think
than
there's
jail
any.
on
I don't
the
think
train?
there's anybody on that train that Daniel Penny was on that think Daniel Penny for what he tried to do should go to prison. I don't think any of them thought that.
Did that guy on that train touch anybody? He was just yelling. And if you ever been on a subway train, you find some crazy people yelling, jumping, doing cartwheels. That's just the normal. You don't go around strangling people because they crazy. You strangle them when they touch you. But you saying just because that
And
man
you
was
say that's
yelling
in
and
a-
acting crazy.
Do you think he tried to kill him?
Yeah, because people were telling him to let go. They were telling him to let go.
Listen.
Stop. You done had enough. They were trying to tap him out like he was in a wrestling match. They were tapping on him, telling him, man, come on, let that guy go. And he just kept holding on to him. So do you think Carmelo was trying to take that guy's life?
I
or
think
was he trying to defend himself?
I actually do believe there's a big difference between
Exactly.
No. Even though you can absolutely kill somebody by putting them in a chokehold, I think when you stab somebody in the chest, I mean, there is no look. You can put somebody in a chokehold to subdue them, and they do that in fighting and all that all the time in UFC, and they let the person go. He should have let him go, but stabbing somebody in the chest only has one reason.
Yeah, get up off me.
No,
Yeah. Get up off me.
you stabbed somebody. Look,
You can feel the life leaving somebody when you got him in the chokehold. You choking that man out until he stopped moving. Poking somebody and running off. You don't know if you hit a major organ. You just say, "Get up off me."
if
dog."
I'm on top, if
back.
my big 300-pound ass is on top of you, and you stab me in the chest. That is not a get up off me move. I may go limp right on top of you. What you just did have literally just taken my life. That is not going to make somebody get up off you. That may make them dead on the
You know how
spot.
many? That was an accidentally good shot. You know how many people been stabbed, man, and walked away with the knife stuck in their side. It was man. You say you from the hood, man. Lord have mercy.
Let me tell you
That's why I
something.
said you hanging out the window. That's why I said you was in the window. I seen old dudes.
If I take this and hit you anywhere near, I'd say 3 inches 3 inches away from where your heart is low. 3 inches away, anywhere. I can take your life anywhere near that. This can take your life. That ain't. Yeah, you trying to take somebody's life doing that.
Not if you, especially that one. That big knife right there, that right there will leave a wound. That will leave a opening. So but the thing you want to poke somebody with is a small knife, because then they're gonna close on. They're gonna bleed inside. Man, I'm telling you, I'm from the hood. I lived in the hood.
I am too, but I don't go around shanking
I didn't look out the
people.
window. No, but I've been there. I seen people get in little fist fights and stabbing somebody, and the guy walk away from it, holding his side or holding his
Yeah, I see.
or holding his leg.
Then Cal's in the comments saying people get stabbed daily. It's not an attempt to unalive. I don't. Okay, I'll be naive
That's
on
why I
that
said keep peeping out the window, man.
one. Call me.
Yeah, you come up with some funny stuff these days.
I don't know. I think that ain't coming up with. That ain't coming up with funny stuff. That's coming up with naive shit. I'm not somebody who grew up shanking motherfuckers. That ain't me being ignorant. That's naive. I didn't doing that crazy shit.
I've never poked nobody, but I've been in the hood. You know, I've been
So
in the
have
hood.
I.
I've seen it because I was out there walking around.
I mean,
Okay.
Anybody from Chicago could ask me any. Hold on, let me put it this way. My credentials are solid enough that anybody from Chicago could ask me any hood related question, and I can tell you where everything's located, where you go to. I know the fucking hood. I just didn't do crazy shit like that. That's why I'm not dealing with shit like Carmelo Anthony.
But see, they act like Chicago was crazy, and I told you I went when my son graduated from the Navy, and the first place I wanted to go was Jerk 86. I think it was Jerk 86 to get the Jamaican food.
Yeah, 86. What are you talking about?
Is it Jerk 36? What is it? I know it's a Jerk something, man. Jerk 68 something. It's Jamaican food. And I saw it, and it looked so delicious when I saw it. I said, if I ever go to Chicago, I don't care what. I don't care if it's on the old block. I'm going to go get it.
Okay, but see, that's closer to where I lived at. I damn near could walk to Old Block over in the 60s. I lived on 74th. Old Block is in the 60s. Now that's close to where I actually grew up at.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I noticed them. I just didn't get involved in it.
I see why you was looking out the window.
Yeah, because a lot of them folks ain't with us no more, Paul Bill. A lot of them folks who was doing that shit, they ain't with us no more. They got a huge ass rap sheet and they can't move around. That's why I didn't get involved in it. I went to school and got an education, but I still knew the motherfuckers, affiliated with them, well, hung out with them sometimes, occasionally, conversated with them. I wasn't pulling licks with them, but they knew me. They knew who I was.
Yeah, I understand, because a lot of them I hung out with now is pushing up daisies.
Right.
If they not locked up. If they not locked up, you know, every time I go home, it's somebody just passed away or they found them in the middle of the street, you know. So, yeah, it is crazy out there, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a level. That level of hood ignorance that you pointed out there to me, that's something I'll wear like a badge of honor. Because like you just pointed out, a lot of folks who were more knowledgeable in that shit are either no longer with us or they got a rap sheet so long they can barely move around. So I don't want to have that.
It's another thing you were saying. It was another thing you said, because you said your call have been broken in by people that look like you.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
That's because you probably live around people that look
exactly,
like you.
Exactly.
Where I live in Virginia, and I live in a uppity area right now, and they have put out that lock your doors now because people is breaking in cars and taking change out of the ashtrays and stuff like that. And they found the guy, and they want people that look like us because I'm in that neighborhood. So what neighborhood you live in, that's who's gonna be breaking in and taking your stuff.
That
so
is
don't
true.
always say, don't always say it's the blacks.
I never.
It's also,
well, first of all, I never indicated that. I never indicated that people who break in cars around the country are all black people. I said that. Yeah, you're right. If you are an African American growing up in an African American neighborhood, your biggest hurdle to success, to living the American dream, is going to be other African Americans. And I'll tell you this: if you leave, you hear of a lot of folks that grew up in a black neighborhood, got their education or whatever the hell they did, and they moved out of the black neighborhood to either a diverse neighborhood or all white neighborhood. How often do you hear some of them say, I don't feel safe, I'm going back to the hood? How often do you ever hear them saying that?
I love going back to the hood.
To live.
Why?
To live.
Well, now, if I retire, I would love to go move back to North Carolina, man, because I'm telling you, Tim, it's sad that where I'm at right now, on my job, I'm probably the only black guy walking around on my job. When I go to North Carolina, I stand in Walmart, and 3 black people in front of me, 3 behind me, and 1 at the cash register. I don't care if I go to the bank, the bakery, wherever I go, I'm going to see somebody look like me.
Yeah.
Here, wherever I go, I'm surrounded by Caucasians. Sun Dodgers.
What the
Colonizers.
but do you have an issue with that? Do you have an issue with that?
No, I do not have an issue with it because they cool people, we all good. I'm just saying, sometimes, they on your TV, they behind you, they everywhere. I like to go visit my mom so I can walk around and see my people.
But the point I'm making is you rarely hear of African Americans who got on their shit, got their lives together, got things together, moved into a neighborhood that was more uppity and white, and they like, fuck this, I'm going back, fuck this, I'm going back to the hood.
Hold up, cause see, in North Carolina, when they pull themselves up by their bootstraps, they move in another neighborhood in North Carolina that's still black people there.
Yeah, but that might be something related to North Carolina. You know what I mean? The average person, you don't hear them saying, I'm going back to the hood. I mean, most African Americans, when they move out of the hood, they do not move back.
You don't hear a white dude say, I'm going to move back to the trailer park.
Exactly. That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making.
In a race.
That's the point I'm making.
They go to a better area.
Right.
Not that they running from their people. They just go to a better area. And unfortunately, I came up here for work. And in this area, there's a lot of Sun Dodgers and colonizers and all that good stuff. So, hey.
You and the Sun Dodgers. I gotta move it on. I gotta move it on, but you and that Sun Dodgers.
The reason I say that because you say African American about 152 times, so I don't understand it.
Is that the proper? Is that the wrong term to use too?
Black people.
I tell you, you Negroes are getting more. You darn Negroes are getting more sensitive.
You black? No. All you gotta do is I ain't sensitive. I'm just letting you know the only people I heard say coloreds and African American is the colonizers up here because they uncomfortable and they don't know what to say.
I tell you something. So
they trying to get it right. But you should already know what to say is that blacks. We are black people.
I tell you something.
Black people. Just like white people. Just like Chinese people.
But I tell you something. Black people have gotten so sensitive on what you can call them that you could damn near call a white person a honky and get less pushback than calling a black person blacks. I mean, it's like no matter what you use, it's the wrong thing.
Black. But Tim, you would say in the same sentence, like I think Denkow said what he said, YN, and you said, and just in case y'all don't know what YN means, that means ghetto.
I said young Negro.
Carjacking, non-Negroes, carjacking, living in the hood type people. That's how you.
You don't think YNs?
You did not need to describe it.
Yeah, I do because I got a lot of folks that don't know what a YN is, Bobo. My audience is everybody.
If I say YT, are you going to describe it like, Triller Tribe?
What the hell is it? What is a YT?
Exactly. You don't know those phases.
I gotta go. You crazy. You crazy. I gotta go, Bobo. Hey, it's good to hear. It's good to have you come up. Good to talk to you. Come on back anytime. All right, moving on. Tap the screen. What the hell is a YT? Somebody let me know that. What is a YT? Yankee Tango. What is a YT? I don't know. I know what a YN is, but what is a YT? And do they call themselves that? In the comments and tap the screen. Help your boy out the hat and mustache TikTok cap goes. Show your boy some love. Do what a real YN would do. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Look at it in the comment. White people. Okay. I don't say YT on the program. I say white people. I know that there is censorship on TikTok, and that's probably why I don't get the numbers that some of the other folks on the platform get, because I am uncensored, so I do get a lot of, what do you call it, strikes and shit on the program. Look, I run on multiple platforms, so if I'm promising uncensored dialogue, I'll take the hit. But you got a lot more folks who use phrases like YT and unalive and grape and all of these other synonyms, and they do have a lot more viewers on the show because they're cleaning the language up. I try, but at the same time, like I said, I'm uncensored. It's what the real word comes out. It is what it is. Young Turks, Mojack. That's what YT is. Young Turks. By the way, what is his name? Sink Unger or Uger. He got banned from the UK. He was going to go over and give a speech or something like that over in the United Kingdom. They banned him because of all his anti-Israel talk. Here's the crazy thing about this is all of these folks that are being referred to as anti-Semitic, far left and far right, because they were criticizing the action of Israel. It's not just the far left. It's also the far right that are criticizing the actions of Israel and Netanyahu and the likelihood that he's guiding Trump versus Trump guiding Netanyahu. It's starting to look more and more like those folks who were just categorized as anti-Semites were correct. It's starting to look more and more like that. That, we stood by Israel and they went way too far in regards to what happened on October 6th or whatever. That's been like 3 years ago. I mean, they got way more than revenge on Gaza and, Hezbollah and Hamas. They got way more than revenge. So I'm going to say it is starting to look more like a lot of folks who were criticizing them were accurate. Now, kind of like with racism, you got a lot of African Americans who will say any white person that criticizes a black person as being racist. I vehemently disagree with that. But it was the same way with Israel. Anybody that criticizes Israel as being anti-Semitic. No, I mean, sometimes a black person, sometimes an Israeli, they deserve the criticism. Nobody should be above reproach. And Alter Ego and Mama Clark, appreciate the TikTok caps. Tim, I think your caller was related to the guy from the Boondocks fighting Grandpa. Popo has some wild statements. Popo, you heard him on the show. He said that any man, period, any man that does not date or would not sleep with a transgender woman is anti-trans. I disagree with that. Twisted Sonic, tap the screen, get the lights on up to 30,000, if you will. I disagree. I don't think that not dating a transgender person makes you anti-trans. But let me ask somebody who might have the answers. The woman with all the answers. Gangster Grandma. Good evening.
That's why you like me, guys. That's why you like me.
Why?
That's why you said you won't sign the divorce papers because I was intelligent.
I thought you were going to say it's because I thought you were going to say it's because you're trans.
Who, me? I'm trans?
I don't know. Did you hear what he said?
About what? About trans people?
He said any man.
I got a fake ding-a-ling, yeah. Well, I'm not trans, though. Fuck no. I like to peg men for a living. What the hell?
Why the hell would somebody want that?
I don't need to have surgery to do that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm a freaky leaky like that.
What about what he said, though? Any man that would not sleep with a transgender woman is anti-trans.
No, that's just your preference. Like, I don't like white tea men because they got pink dicks. You feel what I'm saying? They got uncooked sausage. I don't like that. So, if there's a trans woman and they don't like trans women, well, that is what it is.
What if it was? What if it was?
But that doesn't mean that you're that you're transphobic. No.
What?
That means you do not like what they got in their pants. Okay, trans women got tits and ding-a-ling. Tits and ding-a-ling. Some people don't want tits and ding-a-ling. Some people want tits and coochie.
What if it's post-op? What if they had the operation?
I don't know. That I have never did before. But I had a trans woman want to come up to me. You know what I mean? But then the trans men, they got tits. Some do, some don't. And they got the coochie. You feel me? I mean, I don't swing that way. I like my ding-a-ling and my vajayjay. You feel me?
I mean, what if it could be a ginger You know, redheads have freckles to the point where the dick is brown. That way it ain't pink for you.
I don't fuck with white tea people like that. No, I don't. He's a ginger, black man gingers. Yes, I'll fuck with. White tea, yeah, no, I'm good.
Let me ask you this
They
question.
have uncooked meat, Tim. I've never seen it. Do not talk on it. It's nasty.
Let me ask you this question.
No offense.
Let me ask you this question because Popo's in the comments. My last caller, he says, if they have been fully trans, will you do them? Let me ask you, and I'll ask the audience this as well. If, let's say, for instance, a trans woman has had the surgery, so now they got fake boobs and they got something that's formulated into a vagina down there. They've had the male genitalia removed. If a guy knows that that person was biologically born a male, who is now anatomically a female due to surgery, if a guy sleeps with that person, does that make the guy gay? Gangster, what say you?
Does it make them what? Eh?
Yes.
If they have a ding-a-ling?
No.
They have two.
No, that ain't what I said.
Ding-a-ling
No,
together,
hear me out. You didn't hear what I said. Let's say the guy is a transgender woman and he has had surgery, so now he has a vagina down there. But he tells the person, I was born a male. If the guy sleeps with this anatomically correct female that you know was born a man, is he
It's
gay?
not being, they're not female. Technically, it is being gay because they're not a female. They're not biological, and that's what kind of hurts people. You know what I mean? I'm even their ally and stuff. I don't mind what they do. You feel what I'm saying? But they gotta keep it a buck though, for real, because I mean, the coochie isn't it's man-made. You feel me? And they're still biologically they are a male. Now they are presenting as a woman, not a female, as a woman. I mean, it kind of sucks for them, but I don't like to talk negative about them because they are living in their truth. Because half these motherfuckers that don't like ding-a-ling, they say, are ye pegged by me. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, and real quick in the
So
comments.
I don't judge nobody.
In the comments, Chris says, what are the chances of that happening? That actually does happen, Chris. I mean,
I never had it happen to me.
no, it hasn't happened to me either, thank God. But I'm sure that there are plenty of folks who are post-op that are with guys, and the guy know that they were.
I mean, if I was a trans person, I wouldn't do the surgery because of the shit that you have to go through, and the suicide rate's high. I personally wouldn't do it. I'll stick with my titties and my ding-a-ling if I had to do something or whatever the fuck it is. You feel me? Because I got strap-on, so it's good for me. You know what I mean? It is what it is. That's just me. I'm a freak, though. I ain't gonna lie to you, Timmy Tim.
Okay.
And I'm on painkiller, so you gotta watch. I gotta watch.
How are you doing, by the way?
I'm in a lot of pain, Timmy Tim. You know what happened, Tim? So I went and go see my car. They totaled my car out. A 2025 Mercedes-Benz, less than 25,000 miles on it. They totaled my damn car. They totaled it. Yeah.
Wow.
They said I should have been dead because the way they smashed the passenger. If I had any of my grandbabies in the car, they would have been hurt. All my airbags exploded, all of them. That's why I got a broken back. That's why I got a broken back with LT. No, wait a minute, hold on. T11 and T12 is broken. Then my collarbone is broken. Yeah.
Yeah, you pay.
That shit hurts like a whole bitch. I need you. You married to me. I need your fat ass come on here and take care of me.
I don't. Well, that's the problem. Is I already have blown your back out once or twice.
I know. Yeah. Shut the fuck up, Tim. But anyways, I have awesome kids that my daughters came home for college, and they're registered RNs. They came home for college, so they're gonna help. They're helping me because they want me to have not a live-in, but someone come in the house. Then my son, he's at nursing school, so he's helping. So I have some bomb-ass kids that do everything I need, so I'm good. Yeah. I know you try to blow my back out, please, Tim. You ain't that big enough to blow me out.
Shit, flip your ass over.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, because you're too white. You're
What-
too white
What
for
the
me.
fuck?
I swear to God, you don't got no BBC acting like you're YT on God.
I mean,
I've never. You look in the mirror and all we see is YT.
well, shit, Ron.
You feel what I'm saying?
Well, hold on. Both Ron Jeremy and Peter North are white guys, and they had plenty. Just being
Oh, I
white.
cannot. Oh, God. If I ever see any of those motherfuckers, I would, I honest to God, would jump off. I couldn't do it. It's Jeremy and what's his name?
Peter
the
North.
one MAGA reacts. Oh, God.
I'm not. Wait, hold on. I'm not talking. Wait, hold on. I am not talking about Jeremy that I talk to every day. I'm talking about Ron Jeremy is a celebrity. So is Peter North. Maybe you don't know who they are, but
No, I don't know white people.
Okay.
White people. No.
All
I
right.
like to sit with my Negroes. You know what I mean? Like my BBCs all damn day. You know what I mean? They bless me with everything. Unlike the uncooked sausage. You know what I mean? The Vienna little sausages, Tim. For real. Well, you know, Tim, I'm telling y'all, Tim.
What you want me to do? Mail you my resume?
Tim, please. You cannot. Let's get back on the subject.
Save
Tim.
America Act. The Save America Act. Let's get on the subject. The Save America Act. Trump
They do not want us to vote. They want, and it's going to hurt the red states. A lot of blue states, they want passports and stuff. That's over $250 a person. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Why would you want that? That's going to hurt the red states. That's going to hurt their own damn voters.
I don't agree with
If
you.
you really think about it, who has the most passports? Blue states does.
I don't
We're
agree
the
with
ones
you.
with the damn money.
I'll tell you why I don't agree.
Yeah, it does.
I'll tell you why I don't agree with you.
Nobody should tell us, well, I think, you should have an ID, yeah? But the Save America, he's doing it for black and brown folks not to vote. He is so scared that he's going to lose the midterm, that he is going to lose.
Right.
Look, every time we've been having the shit. Blue is taking it. Even in the red of the red, by 20 points and stuff, they didn't win, but we got them up by 20. Come on, Tim. It's all about being scared.
I don't agree with you.
The Triple K is scared.
Yeah.
The Triple K is scared.
I don't agree with you that it's going to hurt the red areas because they don't have passports and link to the way you're talking about. And the reason I'm
It's
saying
not everybody, actually.
the reason why I disagree with you is because you're assuming they're going to check and scan for IDs and treat voters the same in red areas as they do in blue areas. And I don't. It's just like when during the Jim Crow era. When they had literacy tests that you had to prove you could read to vote. Well, when the white people showed up, they just didn't check the test results as much. So
Right.
you would say, well, it's going to hurt dumb white people just as much as blacks. No, because we're not going to check their test like we're going to check your test. So when you show up to vote as maybe somebody who they don't want to vote, they're going to scrutinize your passport and ID and check the dates and shit more often.
That is true. This is like Jim Crow 2.0. He's trying to take us back to Jim Crow 2.0. He's trying to gerrymander every damn thing. Because why? He's scared because black and brown folks are coming all up in. He's scared because he thinks this is what I try to tell black people and brown people. Oh, our vote don't count. Why are they making a big deal about it if our vote don't count? Why?
Because they know it
Why?
does count. Because they do know
It does count.
Yeah, it does
That's
count.
why. And the YT man in the office, the orangutan, the one that should be going to sleep in there and never waking up, he's the one that is scared the most because he knows when the Democrats takes the House and the Senate, it's a wrap. You're done. His whole family is done. This is the most corrupt. This is the most corrupt shit that we ever have. He's taking our fucking money, dog. He's taking our money and giving it to the rich
APT
man.
Farms. But what about the idea that he has a reason to fight for his life because if he loses, the Democrats are going to try to impeach him for a third time?
But this time he ain't going. He's gonna walk though. This time he won't walk though. He's gonna go right out the damn White House door, kicking and screaming. He needs to go to a long fucking sleep and never wake up. That's what he fucking needs to do.
Come on.
Get like 3 or 4 Big Macs. You know what I
Don't
mean?
say that, gangster. Don't wish.
Don't tell me. I'm not like you. I'm not a ratty raccoony. You feel what I'm saying?
You were
I know
just
what my
involved.
skin color is.
You were just involved in a serious collision. You want somebody wishing for you to go away?
Hey, and a white teen man did it too. And you know why that motherfucker did it? You know why that motherfucker did it?
What are you getting at?
He was a DWI. He didn't want to stop.
But you don't.
So a white man was drinking and tried to unalive my happy ass.
He was not trying to
But he didn't kill me,
unalive you.
though.
He was not trying to take your life, gangster. It was an accident.
An accident, well, you know what, my poor baby. Oh God, I have to go now and sit in a rental car and go buy me a new car, Tim. Are you gonna pay some money to get me a new car, Tim? I need a 25 or 26 Mercedes Benz, the one I had before. Yes.
What that mouth do?
Right? No, what about? You know what, Tim? I'm about to choke you the fuck out with your little lizard.
Well, you know.
With your little T-bone little lizard. Shut
Then
up,
it should.
Tim.
If it's that
You
little,
can't afford my
if it's that little, it shouldn't be nothing for you to deal with.
Little. That's why I tell you.
Right.
Shut the fuck up,
Then put it in your mouth. If it's that, hold on. If it's that fucking little, put it in your mouth and shut the fuck up. Then it should be easy. Get us where we need to be.
I can't even gag on it, Tim.
You don't need to.
I don't even know if I can gag like this. You know, I can't even do that, Tim.
You don't need to.
Like, you know what I mean?
Just-
Like a Vienna sausage type, like, damn, dog. You couldn't even make me gag, dog. You couldn't even tickle my tonsils. You feel me, dog? That's why I tell you, Tim, you need to get to the black side and see if you get your BBC bag, Tim, do something.
You talking?
Because doing this white shit, this white tea shit is not helping your cause.
What are you talking
You
about?
know? Yo, ding-a-ling, Tim. You understand? What does your mouth do? It can't even make me gag, Tim.
Why you need to gag? Just shut the fuck up and swallow.
No. You can't even swallow when it's a 2-centimeter peanut reader. You can't even do that part.
What are you
Tim,
at?
Like I said, Tim. That's what you do with the white tea cockroaches. You know what I'm saying, Tim? Yeah. You ain't fucked with the damn woman. Golly. Ain't you about a bitch, Tim? I swear to God, I can't even get high enough fucking with you. You feel me? I'm on oxys and I can't even fuck with you. I can't. You know what, Tim? I've been nice with you the past few damn days because I'm high as shit.
Thank you.
Strung out on painkillers because my back hurts so bad. And all you talking about is me sucking on you and you don't even have
I didn't say anything like that. Your mind's in the gutter.
What has my mouth done?
Your mind's in the gutter.
That was your mind, not me.
I gotta move it
You know
on.
what, Tim?
Listen.
You know what, Tim?
You take
You know what
take
I'm
some
thinking
time.
about that?
What I want you to do is take out some time, rub the side of your jaws, relax your
Tim,
jaws.
Tim,
We'll talk
my
soon.
whole
Go
body
ahead.
hurts.
Last word.
Tim, I can't even have sex right now for like 6 to 8 weeks. That's how fucked up it is.
Can you talk? Can you talk?
I can talk.
Then you're good. Then you're good to go. Then you're good to go.
But at the end of the day, Tim, they are trying to take our vote for real on some serious shit. They are trying to take our votes. People gotta get out there and tell people not to listen to them, that our vote does matter, especially down south with Jim Crow 2.0. That's on some real home shit right there. Jim Crow 2.0. My mama lived through the shit. My dad lived through the shit. It ain't no joke. My dad got beat down. My mama got beat down. Even trying to get registered to vote. You feel what I'm saying? And if my mom and dad was still here today, they'll tell us to get the fuck out there and quit pandering to the white tea people and get out there and get those votes up in there. You can't let them strip our shit away like that. People died and shit for this. Damn. People died and shit for this. We cannot let the white man win this shit. We can't.
It ain't. I don't know if it's white against black, but I gotta move it on. Well
It
said.
is, Tim.
All right.
Tim.
Real
It
quick.
is. It is. It's Jim Crow 2.0. Who did it the first time, Jim? The white tea man. Jim, who's in the office, Tim? The white tea man. It's white against black people now. It's always been like this: white against black and brown.
Wait. You're saying white against black. You do realize whoever realize whoever runs for the leader of the Democrat Party is gonna probably be white too, right?
I'm not talking about our allies. I'm talking about the bad ones, the triple Ks, the ones that want us back in the fields and shit. I'm not talking about our allies. There are good white tea people out there that are trying their best right now, and they got other lives. Remember on ICE, 2 of them was on our side. I'm not talking about those type of white people. I'm talking about the bad ones, Tim. The ones, the Jim Crow ones, the ones that like lynched us and shit. That's what I'm talking about, Tim.
All right.
I'm not talking about the good ones.
I got to move it on. I'll leave it at that. And I'm not talking about the bad ones either. Tap the screen. Get the likes of Deuce says it's Project 2025. Yeah, there is plenty of that involved. They tried to deny it, but it's pretty clear that was, looks like that was the goal indeed. Tap the screen. Help your boy out the hat and mustache. TikTok, Cap, Goals, Cedric, Haney. Appreciate it. Some of you folks are showing the program some love, a few, but tap the screen, get the likes on up. Are you people all NPCs? Good Lord, says it. No, we're not NPCs. By the way, GTA 6 is coming out. So I'm looking forward to that pre-order. Blue One Banks, thank you for the hat and mustache. Appreciate that hat and mustaches, plural. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. In the comments, white man here, what is the topic today other than blaming white people, says handsome conservative. And I got to end up getting my device on Clapper is just all jacked up. I think they did an update or something and made this device so slow it glitches, and there's no way around it. I'm gonna have to end up doing something about that. But the topic is the Save America Act. And I'll come with some receipts before we take the next caller. Tap the screen, get us up to 50,000, if you will. This is an African-American woman on CNN. I forgot her name. She's one of the contributors to CNN, or correspondents, rather. I want you to hear her take on the Save America Act, which is what we're talking about.
License about to be useless for voting. I want to talk about the Save America Act and why everyone's so stressed about it. So basically, this bill wants to end self-attestation, which is a fancy way of saying you can't just check a box anymore to tell me you're a citizen. You have to actually show the receipts to prove you're one. But if you have a U.S. passport, fine, you're golden. But if not, and I'm talking to the, 146 million citizens who don't have that, you got to have a certified birth certificate or adoption papers. And here's the catch. Remember those regular real IDs that everyone told you to get, or obviously a driver's license? Usually those are not going to be enough on their own either. But it actually gets even...
I want to pause that because that's really important. We went from a driver's license to real IDs, a driver's license that has like a star or something in the corner. I think we all have those by now, that allows you to fly and things like that. And this is CNN. This is not MS Now, Debbie. This is CNN. But when you went from a regular driver's license, which was an ID, by the way, an ID you could use every fucking where, driving, you could use it to get in clubs, whatever you buy, cigarettes, buy alcohol, you could buy a gun, you could use that regular driver's license to do all of that. Then they wanted us to get a real ID if you wanted to get on airplanes. The real ID requires you show your birth certificate at the DMV and all of that. So now when you get on the plane, they know you're a U.S. citizen. As you hear her stating, the real ID may not even be enough for you to vote. So now all of a sudden they're taking it to another level. So when you hear folks say, well, why shouldn't you have to have an ID to vote? You need an ID to drive. You need an ID to do all this other stuff. Yeah, but the ID I used to do all that other stuff won't allow me to vote. The ID they're requiring you to get to vote is going to be significantly more involved than the ID you're using to get into a club, drive down the street, purchase, alcohol and things like that. It's more than just the ID you used to do that stuff. So let nobody tell you, well, if you need an ID to drive, why should you have to have an ID to vote? Because it's not the same fucking ID. It's more to it. You hear her saying right now that the real ID, even that won't be enough.
But it actually gets even messier when you're talking about someone who's changed their name. So if your ID says one thing and then your birth certificate says another, hello, married life for many people, you need a marriage license or a court order to explain the discrepancy and try to connect those dots. Now, you've got two sides of the issue. Supporters say this is a common sense way to keep the voter rolls clean. You got critics saying this is red tape on steroids and that will block millions of people like students and low-income voters who don't have these docs just sitting around in a drawer or the money to suddenly get them. And did I mention, by the way, this wouldn't just be for new voters. It could apply also to currently registered voters who are citizens, who's had their status questioned. Yeah, to stay on the rolls, you got to actually get proceeds as well. So the big question is this a necessary security upgrade or a convenient headache for the 2026 midterms?
And her question fits right into your statement, Chris, in the comments. Chris says this gives me a headache. As she just pointed out, that probably is exactly the goal, is to give voters a headache. This will absolutely cause some voters to just say, fuck it, my vote don't really matter. I'm not going through all of that, because it's going to cost money and stuff to get the documents and all the shit that they're throwing out there. Some of these hurdles will cost you money, time, and effort to negotiate. I mean, that's the point of it, is to make it harder to vote.
I asked the Trump administration when executive orders came out about these voter rolls and save information. I asked them how this information would not violate the Privacy Act of 1974, and they refused flat out to answer that question. So this has been a concern that they have been confronted with for quite a long time, and they've never had a satisfying answer. Listen to this question, and it doesn't seem like they gave the court one either.
Okay. Listen to this.
Jessica, even before this ruling came down, the SAVE database has already been in use. So which states have already been using this database to purge some people off of their voter lists? And have we seen any examples of people who are actually eligible to vote being taken off the voter roll because of this database?
Yes, we have. The case most specifically references Texas, which is actually the state that I am broadcasting to you from. And Texas really embraced the SAVE database full-throatedly, and we're running people against it a lot. And so what they would do is they would reach out to the people whose names match and say, you have 30 days to prove your citizenship. And if they didn't in those 30 days, they were removed from the roll. And what we know about the SAVE database is a couple of things. It contains a lot of false positives. You would be surprised at how many people's names match other people's names. It's not hard to do, but also, and in most crucially, this is not an up-to-date list. This is not automatically generated. It does not automatically update when someone's citizenship status changes.
The point I want to make here is simple. If this new system is causing legitimate voters to lose their ability to vote, it shouldn't be implemented. It's as simple as that. If you're going, especially in a case where you don't have a lot of evidence that this system is preventing illegals from voting, or you don't have a lot of evidence to suggest that what Trump is claiming is actually happening. But if you can start proving that what they're trying to do is causing legitimate voters not to be able to vote, this should not happen. If you want to fight for the Save America Act before 2028 to get the bugs and bills out, to get the bugs and tweak it, fine. But with only 5 months left, and it's clear the system is not perfect, it should not be implemented before the midterms. This is very similar to what folks were saying about the vaccine. Well, they haven't tested it out. They haven't tried it out. You shouldn't be forcing people to take the vax so soon. You shouldn't be forcing people to do this. And unlike the vax, you got clear-cut cases of this going wrong. This is not going right. And what they're claiming it is created to stop, there's not a lot of evidence to prove that what they're saying is happening is even taking place. Certainly with the whole notion that mail-in votes are resulting in so much fraud. Show us the fraud. I'm on Trump's side at that point. In the comments, Mr. T2, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. 100% respect. You gave me the source, but I'm still with Donald J. Trump and MAGA. Nothing wrong with that. You won't change my opinion. Fair enough. To me, this is Camelot like it was Camelot like JFL. These are my golden money years. Well, Mr. T2, if it is indeed your golden money years and your bottom line is the primary reason you're voting, then it makes sense for you to continue voting for Trump and sticking with MAGA. There are people that are getting wealthy, very wealthy, in some cases extremely wealthy, riding with President Trump. If that is the only thing you're voting for, which a lot of people, economics is the number one reason they vote. I understand that. If that's what's happening to you, I don't, more power to you. I get it. But fact is, most Americans are not living through their golden money years under the Trump administration. Most Americans are complaining that things are going up and they can afford less. So you're going through golden money years, more power to you, but that's not what's happening to the average American. In the comments, Chris, how much have you spent on fast food and Starbucks last year, says Stevie D? Trump is destroying our standing in the world, yet all those other countries still take our money and foreign aid. You're assuming we're giving them money in foreign aid. I mean, keep in mind, Trump got rid of USAID. We ain't giving them shit. Trump pretty much got rid of any assistance we were giving to the Ukraine. He ain't giving them shit. He's pretty much prevented most countries that were coming here to live a better life from coming here. You're assuming we're still doing all of that stuff. Under Trump, I don't know if we're still giving money in foreign aid anymore. That may have ended. You'd have to show me some examples of that because Trump ended most of that stuff. So keep that in mind. Tap the screen, get us on up to 50,000. We'll take the next caller. Moving on with the one and only MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA. Redistricting, voter suppression. You got echo. You got echo.
Redistricting, voter suppression,
You got a major echo. I'm going to drop you. Can you hear me? Okay. Redistricting, voter suppression, rigging the election so Republicans can keep control. What did that say? Republicans can keep control at something. Now, somebody's comment moved on, but I do believe the goal is for Republicans to keep control. Listen, here's my take on this. If Trump is doing such a great job, you should just get reelected. It's pretty clear that President Trump does not think his performance alone is going to get him a victory in the midterms. I think that's pretty clear. We're doing way more than what should be happening before the midterms. Everything from this Save America Act to suggesting I need you to find me 5 more seats in Texas, all the redistricting. I mean, it's pretty clear he don't think the traditional methods of voting are going to turn up successful for him. He is gaming the system for his benefit. Now, we can talk about the fact that liberals have redistricting, gerrymandered before in the past as well. But here's what I don't understand. Trump came on the scene down the golden escalator in 2015. What is one of the first things he talked about? It's rigged. The elections, the system is rigged. That's what he promised in 2015 is going to drain the swamp and get all this shit under control. Here we are 11 years later, and he is asking states to give him 5 more seats. This has nothing to do with the people of Texas actually voting. It ain't like he went out and campaigned and said, we've done such a great job making America great again. I want you guys to go out and vote so much that we end up winning 5 more additional seats. No, he called the governor and said redistrict so that I just get them automatically. So that the election has nothing to do with it. The guy who started out by saying the whole system is rigged has actually turned into somebody who now favors rigging the elections. How is what he is doing not rigging? To call the governor and say, I need 5 more seats, to the point where you know you're going to get 5 seats, irrespective of how the people vote. Doesn't matter how they vote, I'm going to get 5 seats. That's rigging an election. This is a guy who came on the scene complaining about rigged elections, now actively involved in rigging elections. He didn't drain the swamp on that at all. Sounds like he more or less became the swamp. But I'll let MAGA react. Good evening, MAGA. Do you disagree with me that his gerrymandering find me 5 more seats, is that not rigging an election?
I see it as unrigging the election.
What do you mean?
Shit's already gerrymandered towards Democrats. He's gerrymandering it the other way, balancing it out.
How did he win if it's gerrymandered?
Because this.
You think the state of Texas?
The Congress voting is different than the presidential voting. Like right now, we have the Senate, we have the popular vote, but we have a huge lead in the Senate, and we had a decent lead in the popular vote. Yet because of the fucking gerrymandering, we only have a minor fucking lead in Congress.
Yeah, but what about the people?
That fucking Congress was gerrymandered for the Democrats.
You think turning Texas almost completely red is not rigging? That's just under rigging. A state, you got progressive cities in Texas that are not going to be red. That ain't rigging in you at all.
He's balancing out rigging in other places like California and New York.
Okay, but
I mean,
if you
rigging in
live
every state.
if you live in Texas, you don't want to hear about, well, I'm balancing out some shit that's in California. You're fucking up my state. I mean, he's basically rigging the election of Texas. You disagree with that?
I guess. I don't know, man. Just anytime you look at Congress, look at fucking the Senate, and if they're not the same ratio, if they're the lead in the Senate, it's not. If it's a close Senate or like an almost tie Senate and almost tie Congress, then yeah, you're good. There's no rigging. But if it's not matching like it is right now, that tells you it's rigged toward whoever the mismatch is at. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. I don't get that. I don't understand. I do not understand what you're saying.
Long story short, it was rigged toward it's still probably rigged to favor the Democrats.
How is
That's
he?
why we have such a big lead in the fucking Senate.
How is he claiming to be winning elections by a landslide if everything's rigged?
Because gerrymandering only works for Congress. It doesn't work for senators. It doesn't work for the presidential vote.
Then if it only works for Congress and not, I mean, if it only works for, then how did he win Congress and the Senate if it's rigged for Democrats?
He should have won it by more. It should be like the Senate. Again, Senate is not rigged. Senate is a statewide vote, so you can't gerrymander it. It's state by state. The whole state votes.
Right.
But Congress is a freaking sector by sector. Only Congress could be, not Congress, the House. Only the House could be rigged because only the House could be gerrymandered. You can't rig the Senate. You can't rig the presidential vote. As far as gerrymandering, you could rig it in other ways. But so it's obviously rigged because it doesn't match. It should be somewhere. There should be kind of mirror images of each other.
Was it okay? When? So what are you suggesting? It's always been rigged?
Not always. Like when it matches, it's not.
When did that last happen? When did it last match in your opinion?
I can't. I don't have a fucking record of it in front of me right now. I can't tell you.
Because I don't.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't agree with what you're saying.
I want to say actually under Biden, it was kind of balanced out because the Senate was very small majority, and same with the House.
Yeah, when you're talking about comparing 50, 50 senators, 50 or whatever it is, compared to hundreds of senators. Yeah, compared to hundreds of
every state gets 2, and there's 50 states, so it's 100 senators.
Yeah, compared to over five times as many Congress. I don't think it has to be close like you're saying.
It has to be kind of a similar ratio.
I don't think so at all, because we know when it comes to the most of the country is red. Outside of the big cities, most of the country is red. It literally should be mostly red a lot, because outside of the big towns, even in California and Illinois and New York, when you get away from the big cities, all of that shit's red. And those are congressional districts. It really, based on all of that shit, the Congress should be winning all the time. Red. It should always be going Republican.
I don't get how he said why.
Because most of the districts in America, aren't they red? Outside of the big cities, look at any map. Outside of the big cities, all of those counties usually go red.
Yeah, but that's land. That's not people.
Those are districts, though.
We're by people.
Those are also districts.
Why are we even getting? What do you even say? I just got fucking flagged.
Yeah. Well, where we're getting at, to give you clarity, what we're getting at is whether or not the Save America Act is needed, legitimate. Is it necessary? How do you feel about the Save America Act?
I think it's needed. And as far as what you said earlier, the reason you can't use real ID is because non-citizens could get real IDs. Anyone could get a real ID. That doesn't prove you're a citizen. Only U.S. citizens could get passports. That's why a passport works. But anyone can get a real ID. Everybody should be able. Any illegals could get a real ID.
How do you respond to the fact that their voter rolls are actually kicking legitimate from being able to vote?
I mean, there's always going to be mistakes. I mean, you gotta clean up.
Then there's always going to be people that cheat then.
Because people move.
Okay, there's always going to be people that cheat.
Yeah, but you got to try to minimize it.
No, you got to try to minimize the mistakes.
Say, fuck it.
No, you got to try to minimize the mistakes is what you should be trying to minimize.
I think there's more mistakes from not cleaning the voter rolls than cleaning them. especially like right now. I mean, you think the federal government has this list of all the citizens that could vote in the country, but they don't. They're really fucking clueless.
No,
That's why like it's so hard to do this shit.
Yeah, see, you and I disagree. You and I believe that if the police pulled you over or they grabbed you on the street and either they get a driver's license or a state ID from you, I believe the police could find out whether you're a citizen of this country or not in less than 10 minutes. If they got a legitimate state ID
video due to privacy, I doubt they can. You have to kind of tell them or show them a passport or something.
They can find out. No, I don't. Yeah, there's no privacy preventing them from finding out if you're a U.S. citizen or not. I ain't never heard nothing like that.
I'm telling you, that data is not easily available.
No. We're not gonna do this today. You know, you got King Fluffer over here. He kisses your ass. He like to suck on you. Not me though, dog. Not me. For one, let's get the misinformation out. Undocumented immigrants cannot get a real ID. You have to have a birth certificate and you have to have a social security card to get a real ID.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that, by the way.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's the.
Hold on a second. Hold on, gangster. Hold on. Hang on. Hold on, both of you. Hold on. Alexa, can a non-citizen get a real ID?
Yes, non-citizens can get a real ID if they can prove their legal presence in the U.S. This includes permanent residents, DACA recipients, TPS holders, and those with valid student or work visas.
Alexa, stop. You wrong, gangster grandma.
Undocumented immigrant.
Sorry, I was wrong about illegals, but non-citizens can.
Undocumented immigrant. TPS and stuff have legal residency here. You numb nut.
Okay, I was wrong about the illegals being able to get real IDs, but everybody else can. A lot of non-citizens can.
Well, yeah, you forget where the fuck you came from, though. You forget.
I'm a fucking citizen. I'm an naturalized citizen.
You realize that he's trying to take your shit from you, too? You realize that, right?
Wait. When he takes it away, I'll start voting for Democrats. How about that? When it happens,
it'll be too late by then. It'll be too late by then.
They're trying to take your shit from you. They are.
They're gonna let me vote anyway.
Human either. Just remember, because you have light skin, honey, you're not white, sweetheart. Like I said, you're never going to be at his table. You're never going to drink at his cup.
I'm not at his table of prison.
Yes, you are.
This isn't prison. I don't care.
This is what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Just like Tim. You know, you're gagging on the Vienna sausage. You are. And you're spewing all this misinformation.
What the fuck was that?
In the United States.
What the hell was that?
Vote in the United States.
I didn't say they could vote. I just said that that a real ID does not mean you're a citizen. Because non-citizens can get a real ID.
Barriers, and we should not have more barriers to vote. Why do you want more barriers to vote?
I don't want more barriers. I want more security.
The last elections, who got voted? Who got in trouble for having fucked up votes? It wasn't the Democrats. It was the Republicans. They got charged.
Well, what she's talking about is the fake electors. There's a lot of Republicans that got in trouble for fucking with the election, MAGA. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah, we're contesting an election that was fucking very.
No, you weren't contesting. You were doing things. You weren't contesting. You were doing things that were criminal. You were
it hasn't happened before. The rules were gray as fuck.
No, you can't. But you still have laws of what you can and cannot do to look into an election. They were breaking the law.
They made laws afterwards.
No, they didn't. You had folks. No, you had folks posing as fake electors using fake credentials. That law was already in existence. You can't pose as somebody that you're not.
There's a law for choosing electors, but there's no law against fake electors.
Oh, wow.
What? Are you a fucking lawyer?
The thing is,
you know what, Tim?
If we were able to prove,
I can't even get high with this motherfucker.
The problem is, Tim, if we were able to prove that Trump was the real winner and that the Democrats cheated, how do we submit electors if they're already submitted by the other side?
Funny though, MAGA.
We have to submit electors so
you can't. MAGA.
You know what's so funny with this teeny weeny? You know what's so funny about this motherfucker?
We should set up a system for the next time this happens.
MAGA, you cannot use fake documents to try to get access to election voter rolls to prove your guy won. You cannot violate You cannot violate privacy laws in search of information for your guy. That's against the law.
Well, there you
You know
go.
what,
That's another
Tim?
thing. That's why election fraud is very hard to catch. All the fucking privacy laws.
What did the Orange Dragon say? He has a secret. He has a secret. When he won, he has a secret, right? And when Elon Musk did all this shit, you watch what comes out. You watch, and I have I don't do all this spirit.
Why isn't Elon Musk cooking all these other elections?
But what?
All these things you keep bragging about winning. Why hasn't Elon Musk rigged them all?
Work out when we flip the House and the Senate. Something's gonna come the fuck out that he cheated. You watch.
I really doubt it.
I put money on it. I put money on
And,
it.
and real quick in the comments, real quick in the comments, Dencal points out there are laws against initiating or imitating electors. I think that's pretty obvious. You got to show an ID to do something. Chances are, if the ID is fake or created, it's against the law to do that. I mean, it's as simple as that. You know damn well when some of those fake electors, MAGA reacts were people like Rudolph Giuliani and other attorneys. So you know they didn't charge him with a bullshit charge. They got charged with breaking the law.
Wait. You know what a fake elector is? It's not someone who votes. It's
it's worse. It's worse. It's worse than one voter. It's somebody trying to get access to all of the voter rolls. They're trying to get access to thousands of people's votes.
That's not what an elector does. No,
But
the
you know what,
elector
though?
is.
But you know what, Tim?
It's a crime, MAGA. It's a crime.
Can he just be quiet for a minute? I can't even
You don't
handle
even know what you're
I'm
talking
high
about.
as
That's
hell.
the
I
funny
can't even
part.
fuck around.
I can't even argue with this. How little you know about
Are
overtalking.
you-
What you're saying.
You know what? I just shut your ass down.
Are-
I'm not even talking about you. I'm talking about him. You're not even saying anything.
You have a teeny weeny brain, small as your dick, your head of your dick. That you know what? People can't even comprehend you anymore. You are a slow ass motherfucking maggot. That's what you are. You are upside this man's head. You know what? You know what? I can't wait till he fucking loses. And your little pee-weeny ass
I've been waiting to lose 3 years now. I've been waiting to be deported since 2016.
3 minutes, gangster. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Which is a Muslim country.
Teddy, shut your mouth out. He's going to lose. I can't wait till the maggots go and need to watch what they fucking belong.
I was supposed
You know
to
what?
be
We need
deported back in
to be honest to
2016. I've
God.
been waiting. When is it going to happen?
Well,
When is
Trump
it going to happen?
Trump is not going to lose because he doesn't have to run again.
What are you talking about? He's not going to lose. He is going to lose.
He's not running for president again. I mean,
Oh, no, he's not going to run again. No, but guess what? He's going to lose the Senate and the House. You watch and mark my fucking words. Blue is coming. And when Blue gets in, he's going to be bye-bye. And I hope he goes to jail. But I really doubt it because he's a white man. He has money and shit. But this little idiot down here thinking that he's untouchable and that he came in the right way and that he will never be touched, he's coming for you too, you stupid fuck.
Where
You know
are
what I mean?
these
He's
people
coming for
that
him
can get
too.
deported? Where are all these citizens
They
that took
are.
their citizenship away?
They are
Where are all
taking
these
them away.
naturalized people
They
losing
are.
their citizenship? Where are they?
Shut up. Aren't they taking this shit away? Taking people's citizenships away?
Yeah.
Aren't they doing it
Where
right
are
now,
they?
Tim?
Who? How many?
I'll see if I can get you some information. Go ahead. You guys keep talking for a minute. I'll look at
Alright,
you know
she's
she's absolutely right about that. She's absolutely right about that.
He's
I want to know how
coming for
many.
he's coming for your citizenship too. Just remember, you're not white, sweetheart. He don't give a fuck about
I
you.
never said I was white. I said you were white. You're fucking white.
This is why.
Stop pretending to be black because we all know you're white and you have no teeth.
You're never gonna be at the white man's table. Don't worry about my teeth. I'll take your fucking.
All right, you're never gonna be in the black man's table because when they see you, they're gonna realize you're a white racist that keeps saying the N-word when you're white.
I do sit at my damn table, and you know what? I never will vote for a fucking white man that puts everybody else underneath the table and think that he's the bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't do all that. I vote for other people.
I eat at my
don't
own
vote for
table.
you.
I don't give a fuck about a white man's table or
I
black
know
man's
you
table. I
don't.
like to eat
I
at
know
my own
that's why you
table.
threw all of us underneath the bus. But your karma, bitch, is coming. Your karma is coming, bitch. It's coming.
Karma, you're the one that's
It's
got in a
coming.
car wreck.
Your
CCB
karma's
Karma
coming.
doesn't like you,
What
not
are you
me.
talking about, bitch? And I get paid, bitch.
2 minutes.
What?
2 minutes.
It's not mean because you just got in that car wreck, but I got that karma.
You can't. What karma?
All the
It
shit
wasn't karma,
talking,
bitch.
fucking
It
karma
wasn't
finally got
karma,
your
bitch.
ass.
It wasn't karma, bitch. And what?
I wish you the best as far as
I
healing.
wish your mama would swallow your ass because you're a waste of a fucking nut, bitch.
Well, I
And what?
wish you get better. So I could fucking
Shut your
really curse you
ass,
out because
white
I can't
fat
fucking curse
ass.
out someone
I got
that's in
to go.
fucking a
I got
hospital
to
bed.
go.
All right, Gangsta, I'll let you go. Appreciate it. All right, MAGA reacts real quick. I want to play this clip. I think I've played it before. I'm not for certain what's on here.
I got some articles I got to show you.
We'll give you some time. We'll give you some time because she interrupted, but I want you to hear this.
800,000 will become American citizens every year through the naturalization process. But new today, the Trump administration is increasing staff and resources to revoke citizenship from people they want to scrutinize. NBC5's Phil Prazen takes a look at the issue.
The celebrations are held across the state of Texas.
It was emotional. It was emotional. And
immigrants and their families pledge allegiance to the United States after years of work. This ceremony is the last step in the naturalization process for those over 18 who are legal permanent residents, who pass a civics test, who speak English and have, quote, good moral character. Now, President Trump wants to beef up the process in reverse, adding staff to the 80 field offices to try to find 100 to 200 people a month to denaturalize, who they claim may have lied on their paperwork, are national security threats, or have illegally used Medicaid or Medicare. A spokesperson wrote NBC, quote, we maintain a zero tolerance policy towards fraud in the naturalization process and will pursue denaturalization proceedings for any individual who lied or misrepresented themselves.
Now, let me just say this. If they're trying to denaturalize people for what they see as a national security threat, that could be any fucking thing. Look, we see that your grandmother. We see that your grandmother's from Iran. We see that as a state-sponsored terrorism. To us, you're a national security threat. That could be anything.
I asked for examples. I didn't ask for this. Oh, he's trying to. I didn't ask for the newspaper, the MSNBC fear mongering. I asked for examples of people who got deported and why they got deported.
They're working on it. Did you not hear what he said? They're working on it.
Wake me up when they actually deport some people.
Oh, so in other words, we can't say nothing. So even though you know they're clearly trying to do it, we got to pretend like it's not happening until it actually people start getting kicked out.
They're trying to enforce some actual laws. I mean, this is probably a normal thing that we do, and they just hired more people to do it. And just because they hired more people to do it, you're using that to fearmonger.
They're trying to enforce some natural laws. Yeah, like they're trying to prevent people from eating cats and dogs. Like they're trying to get rid of all the rapists and murderers and people from the same side. The guy makes up his mind. The guy lies about shit. The guy makes up shit that's not happening.
Tim, just like the border, they're just enforcing the current laws. And they're hiring more people to enforce the current laws.
No, they're going after people. No, they're going after people that are naturalized. Why are we, if we're trying to get rid of rapists and murderers, why are they going after naturalized? These are people that came here the right way. Why are they going after them?
Again, this is just making sure they didn't commit any fraud, that they're not fucking related to terrorists and that they're fucking not terrorists.
Right. All of us are related to terrorists, goddammit. If you really look into us, we are related to somebody.
Related to any terrorists.
You from Egypt. You were from Egypt. I guarantee somebody related to you did some shit to Israel. You are related to terrorists. Guaranteed.
I'm Christian, so I can almost guarantee. I'm Coptic Christian, so I can almost guarantee there's no.
Okay.
We're the ones that the terrorists.
You related to some damn terrorists.
And blow up our shit.
You just don't know who the fuck they are, but you related.
No,
what did you want to show me? You're crazy wrong on this. What did you want to show me?
Articles. Remember what I kept telling you? Hold on, give me a second. Remember I kept telling you about the.
And by the way, help your boy out with the hat, mustache, TikTok cap. Go show the program some love. MAGA reacts. Go.
All right. Every election is voter fraud, especially in California, where there's always someone registering homeless. This article right here is from the last election in 2025 or 2024.
Okay.
Actually, this is from the 2025. You know, the election we just had.
Okay.
This one, these 9 people have been registering homeless people since 2016, and they just caught them like right now. I mean, there's another one right here where it's 4 people again registering homeless people with they're giving them cigarettes and money to vote. Like almost every election, they catch someone.
But hold on. If I give you cigarettes and money to vote, does that guarantee you're going to vote for the guy I want you to vote for?
Yeah, if the ballot is right there and you fill out the ballot in front of me, yes. If it's in a voter booth, it doesn't. That's why a voter booth is more secure, because I could pay you $1 million. Once you're in a voter booth alone, you could vote for whoever you want.
So what's
a fucking ballot?
What's the difference between this and Elon Musk in Wisconsin giving somebody $1 million? What's the difference?
Because he's not on top of them watching their vote and
Come on,
counting their vote. Like,
Oh
he's telling
my
them,
God!
vote
Really?
for
That's
whoever
what you
you
come
want.
in?
If
You
want-
really think that if I give a homeless person a pack of cigarettes, I can be dependent on who they vote for? But if I give a motherfucker $1 million, he might vote the other way.
Again, in Pennsylvania, where Elon did it, they go in a voting booth and they vote in the booth. Elon's not on top of them. These homeless people.
You
fill out
guys,
ballot.
your side just passed a law last election that prevented folks from giving folks that are in line a bottle of water, saying that it may sway their vote. You're not on top of them, and they passed that law. This guy's in line. He's gonna be in line for 2 more hours. Handing him a bottle of water is
We
gonna make
have
him
an
vote Democrat.
example of literally, they're bribing every fucking election. They're bribing homeless
This
people.
don't
for
make
their votes
sense
when
what
they
you're
get caught.
saying though. Your side believes that if you give somebody standing in line a bottle of water, when they finally get to the front of the line, they're going to vote the same way you want them to. But you also are telling me that if Elon Musk gives you $1 million, that might not work. Do you realize how bad what you're saying, how crazy it sounds?
And you're saying the water might not work. So, okay, I'm not up here telling you about fucking water. I'm up here telling you about people paying them and filling out their ballots. Like, literally, they did it themselves. They didn't fucking, they didn't they didn't pay them and told them to go down the street to the fucking thing. They're doing it. They're filling out the ballots themselves.
Well,
Okay, they're right there, right on top of them. They make sure to fill out the ballots the way they want. And they take the ballot and they harvest the ballot and take it to the fucking take it in. So they make them fill it out and they take it to the fucking booth themselves, to the fucking drop-off box themselves. Like, that's a lot more guaranteed than I give you a water or I give you $1 million and then you go in the booth by yourself and do it.
Oh my
This
God.
is like guaranteed that they're gonna get the vote.
That's your opinion. In the comments, user guy 1962 says that for you,
That's not my opinion. These people are
if a
fucking
homeless
pleading guilty to this.
for you to try to suggest because Elon Musk is not in the voter booth with you, him giving you $1 million doesn't sway your vote. To me, that just sounds crazy for you to even say it. Somebody give you $1 million, it's pretty clear where you're gonna vote. You try to make it sound like that might not sway them at all, huh?
No, it will sway them, but this is guaranteed. You
And that
if Elon gives me $1 million, I can still go vote for a Democrat. I could fucking lie to you.
Ain't nobody gonna take $1 million and vote the other way. That's stupid. That is fucking stupid. Ain't nobody gonna take $1 million from somebody and vote the other
You're
way.
a diehard Democrat and you want $1 million.
Ain't nobody gonna take a million. Look, if I take $1 million from Elon, if I take $1 million from Elon, I'm not gonna risk him finding out, considering he's a direct friend to the president. I'm not gonna take his $1 million and risk him some kind of way finding out through back channels that I didn't vote the right way and have it Elon with all the power behind him coming after me.
There's no way. There's no way to find out.
Bullshit. The fake electors just found out shit. You just had fake electors doing it
Nothing to
then.
do with actual voting. The fake electors are picked.
You say
These
some
are
crazy
people
stuff.
are picked by the government of that state to go in and vote in the House.
You say in the comments.
The fake electors have nothing to do with actual
Yeah.
voting at all.
In
they're
your-
the ones that go in and tell.
That's in your opinion. In the comments, user guy says if a homeless person, hey y'all, let me read the comment. If it says if a homeless person registers to vote and they are a legal citizen, that they didn't just register to vote, you're saying they filled it out for them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying these people are. They registered 8,000 people and they're paying them to vote for whoever they want. These people are not voting on their own. They're fucking like sheep being harvested, you know.
And he didn't
Every year they catch people.
Did they take the lie down or something? Shit, I think they may have taken him off or something. Let me see here. No, they took MAGA Reacts. That's the first time this ever happened to you, MAGA Reacts. They took MAGA Reacts down, really? Wow, MAGA. Yikes, you talking too much shit. They took MAGA Reacts down. Oh my God, we must got some liberals in there. Dan Cal says, how many homeless people do they need to give money to sway an election? How many homeless people will keep that a secret? That's two great questions. Two excellent questions. First of all, you would have to pay a hell of a lot of homeless people in a city, in a area like California that's already blue to sway a national election. There would have to be a tremendous amount of people. And he's also right in saying that if that's what's happening, why is it a secret? if you're paying somebody who is fucking homeless to vote, they're still homeless after you pay them, right? So it wouldn't be hard for somebody else to come behind you and pay them to get them to tell what happened, the fraud they participated in. And this is what I keep talking about, is that the Trump administration is claiming all this stuff and providing little to no proof of it. Now, he has an article that says like 8,000 people or something like that. But of course, when we present articles that say that people who can legally vote are getting kicked off the voter rolls, that article don't mean much to them. There are people who can legitimately vote being prevented from voting because of what they're doing. That suddenly don't mean much to them. In my opinion, if you're causing legitimate voters to not be able to vote, the law you're trying to pass needs to be stopped. You need to go and tweak that law and fix that. I would rather for some people who should not have the right to vote to be able to cast a vote than to prevent people who do have the right to vote to be prevented from voting. To me, you focus on making sure all the legal people get to vote. That should be what's paramount. Make sure you ain't fucking with nobody who legally can vote, and then you can go after the illegals. Don't chase the illegals so much that you're taking legal people away from voting. That's where I draw the line. And I think they're able to show that what Trump is doing is going to cost legal right to vote. And that, to me, once you do that, no, you ain't saving America at that point. More like a sway, SWAY, Sway America Act. Look up what it says. Look up liberal Democrat. It's exactly what MAG is. What is that? What are you talking about? I don't know what that means. Opposite beliefs, but equally bad. In the comments, Tim, for $1 million, I'd vote for Gangster Grandma. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, is that if Elon Musk hands somebody $1 million, they're going to vote the way Elon Musk wants them to. It's as simple as that. Most of us vote because of economic reasons to begin with. I don't care what I'm complaining about. If you hand me $1 million, it's probably going to fix that. Up to and including racism. Rich people don't really get hit with issues regarding racism even as much. If you hand somebody $1 million, most of the problems they're complaining about are going to go away. Maybe I want healthcare reform because I'm sick and I can't afford to pay my medical bills. $1 million, you can purchase some decent insurance at that point. Most of the problems that person is dealing with, if you give them $1 million, is going to go away. That person is going to vote the way you want them to. The idea that Elon Musk could hand somebody $1 million and they go in there and then vote Democrat after that is crazy. That ain't going to happen. A minuscule amount of people would do something that crazy. Looking in the comments, did you see Congress pass the War Powers Act today? Yes, I did hear about that. Fucking late as hell. This guy gets on social media and says a whole civilization is going to die tonight, and you're still letting him party with our weapons. The guy destroys a school full of girls and he's blaming it on the Iranians. Like, damn, what did it take? What did it take for your family to say, maybe we should actually limit him? He's already threatening Cuba next. You're letting him threaten Greenland. Like, at what point do you step up and say, you know, we are kind of like Congress, aren't we? You know, we don't actually have to let him do this. So shout out to Congress for finally coming around, but a bunch of days late, a lot of dollars short. TBF, the story about a lady pleading guilty to a felony for paying people to register is real. I'm not arguing that, but I don't believe you should pass a whole Save America Act governing the whole fucking country because of what a handful of people did. Just like the Lincoln Riley Act. Do I believe even a large majority of illegal immigrants are capable of doing what happened to take out Lincoln Riley? No. You're finding, that's what I say, what Trump is doing is finding problems, or better yet, finding solutions in search of a problem. And the problem is so minuscule, you don't go and do all this shit. You're hurting innocent people doing this stuff. Let me go back to the box, tap the screen. Took down MAGA Reacts. I was not expecting that. Wow. Miss Mo Betta. Good evening, Miss Mo. Welcome to the program. Save America Act. Good evening.
Save America from what and from who?
Allegedly saving America from fraudulent voters casting ballots in our election.
See, this is where, words and stuff matter. I'll give Trump them credit because he knows how to hide those people that actually suck his orange balls. He know what words to put in play and that they're going to buy into it. So again, like you always say, I'll rock with you if you can prove to me that this stuff is actually taking place.
How about this? In the comments, Handsome Conservative says Democrats and Republicans, they simply don't trust each other. So the Save America Act is the result of that.
Well, no, that is true. Well, when you have a leader that's in charge, someone that is a so-called leader that's not displaying leadership skills, that's what happens. The president that we have right now is a whole partisan president. He's not bipartisan at all.
No.
He's for one side and one side only, and it's that the numbers don't lie when it comes to shit like that.
Yeah, and I was going to say something similar. I was going to say that I agree with Hanson Conservative that the parties don't like each other. So if they had a bipartisan agreement to strengthen the security governing how we vote, that would be one thing. But you got one side saying that, well, I want to make sure that the vote, that voting is free and fair and there's no cheating. But we want to control all of it. If you had a leftist doing that, the right wouldn't agree with it either.
And that's a fact. And that's a fact. The right complained about Obama wearing a tan fucking suit. Give me a goddamn break. Give me a break. What we seeing now is not presidential and it's unprecedented.
Yeah, but he's getting through. He's doing pretty good with it. I mean,
well, that's because he's doing all kind of executive orders, Tim.
Yeah.
He's doing and what they don't put forth is all the cases and stuff that he actually loses in courts.
Well,
they only highlight the good parts when it comes to him, which is very minimal. Because I don't see anything that he's doing as the president to say that he is for the United States of America. Now, when he said America first, there are two entities. There are the United States and then there's America. Why do you think DC is its own area? It's its own jurisdiction. It's its own area.
Well, when you say he's not doing anything for the United States, they're going to suggest he is protecting our borders. Biden had open borders. They're going to suggest that he's protecting our children from all this trans shit. They're going to suggest he is protecting our elections from fraudulent voters. They can see clear as day that my beloved MAGA are going to tell you that President Trump is indeed doing things for this country.
Please tell me you're being facetious. I don't want to call you fluffy. Please tell me you're being
facetious. I'm telling you how MAGA feels on this.
I have a legitimate question for the MAGA who think that the rainbow community is harming children. I want y'all to go and check the statistics on who harms the children the most. It's someone from their own family who it could be their dad, it could be their uncle, it could be their aunt. The statistics show that children are harmed more by people that they trust or entrust their children with. It has nothing to do with the rainbow community.
Not that I've seen, but they do believe that.
No, but my thing is, you know why they go at them hard? Because they don't want the LGBTQ community exposing their asses. They're grinder crashing asses. They're attracted to them. So what they do is put up a front so they don't get exposed. That's what that is.
You're trying to tell me that MAGA are attracted to members of the LGBTQ community?
Yes, they are. Because listen, there's a lot of people in the LGBTQ community that spend a good ass amount of money to make themselves look the bomb. Stop playing. And when I say the bomb, that means they look good. You can't tell a natural male or female. They have people, and they've seen them, and they've been attracted to them, and like, oh damn, that look good. And you know him; he's a man that say want to grab women by the pussy. So what would stop him? Glowing. What the fuck?
Yeah. But see, when you start suggesting,
what would stop him from being attracted to one if he doesn't know which
Yeah,
it
but
is.
when you start suggesting that MAGA and conservatives like gay people and members of the LGBTQ community, keep in mind you got a lot of Christians on that side of the aisle. Good example. Handsome conservative says, hold on. Handsome conservative pushes back by saying, see, this is where Democrats lose me. That is just not true. That, you know, he's a conservative. He's MAGA. Well, he voted for Trump. He says he's not MAGA anymore. But he's saying that it's wrong to suggest that they all like members of the LGBTQ community.
No, what is wrong for y'all to be concerning yourself with who they share their beds with? That's what's wrong. You fake ass Christian. You think that they're God's people just like you are, and you calling yourself a Christian? You calling yourself a Christian? Knock it off. You smoke cigarettes. You think God's pleased with that?
Well, some are going to say that there's some are going to say that there are places in the Bible that speak out against the LGBTQ lifestyle.
Oh, the Bible that was written by a gay man. They talk about the King James Bible. You know, he was a bisexual man too. Do they know that?
You got me. Listen. I'm no Bible thumper, so it's pretty easy to go above my knowledge on this.
This is the thing about they keep saying Christian. God, we are all God's people, even if you don't like what people does. You can't go to heaven or hell for nobody. And vice versa. Can't nobody go to heaven or hell for you. But you can't demonize one thing and glorify another. You glorified Trump, and he had 3 different wives and cheated on 2 of them. And y'all still think he's the king around here. Y'all still sucking on his orange balls.
Well, they think he's one of the best we've ever had to do it, Miss Mobella.
Well, and that's what makes them fake as fuck. Because he's not. He's one of the worst. If y'all going on statistics, go check the statistics. All his shit is in the red.
Well, I mean, they believe that eventually
they voted for him after he's coming down the escalator, lusting after a 10-year-old. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all miss me with all that bullshit. And y'all keep talking about policy. What policy he got that made any American better on this day here, June 23rd, 2026?
Well, there are people who are doing better. I had a viewer state that they're in the money age under Trump. They're doing very well. Some people are doing better.
Those are the people. Maybe they're into the stock market because that's the only thing that you could say that really you are making anymore, because wages aren't up, unemployment is up, gas is up, groceries is up, utilities is up, oil, all of that stuff is up. So what the fuck are they talking about?
I'll explain it to you. I'll explain it to you. In the comments, Mr. T2 says, these are my golden years, making money left and right. I don't understand why they hate President Donald J. Trump. That person is doing very well under Trump.
Because he has an awful spirit. You Christians.
What the hell? What do you mean?
He carries an awful spirit.
How do you know what the man's spirit is? What are you talking about? How do you know what his spirit is like?
Because the spirit shows on your character, Tim. See, this is where you're gonna need a whole day of show. Because put his ass around a dog. I bet you the dog growl at him. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here with that.
Well,
his character, your character is your spirit, Tim. That's what your spirit shows up through your character.
Well, some folks are voting for Trump based on executive policies, as opposed. There are folks who will admit, look, he's not a great person, he's not a role model, but I like his policies. There are folks who say that all the time.
So which policy did I like the best? Because all I see is executive orders. I'm just saying.
Tax cuts, no tax on tips, crypto.
Tax cuts for who? For whom?
Tariffs. I mean, people are benefiting by that stuff, Miss Mobetta. Some folks maybe not.
All the corporations that got the middle class down here scraping 2 nickels together.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you is there are folks.
It ain't no but when it comes to that.
I'm trying to explain it to you, folks that represent the top half of this country. A lot of things that the folks at the bottom and even in the middle are complaining that's hurting them. Folks at the top are making a killing off of it.
Of course they are, and that's just That's why don't nobody like that monkey asses. A bunch of fucking goofy, nut sucking asses.
Oh, come on. You gotta listen. You can't make it sound like everything about Trump ain't bad, Miss Mobetta.
So show me the good one.
I just
To
told
find out
you.
The good one. I'll listen.
No tax on tips. Is that bad? Is it bad?
How many people actually benefit from that?
The ones that are benefiting, is it bad? You don't want to give them credit.
No, because this is how that works, Tim. This is how that when you go to file your taxes, this is not like they're really coming home with extra money in your pocket. It's just a credit when you go to taxes, and then people still are not making enough money to have a living one. Shit is bullshit, and they say 25,000, but that's for a couple.
Let me ask you to
It's 25,000 per couple.
Let me ask you to you this way. Are they the people who are getting no tax on tips for whatever you're saying is worth 25,000 per couple, sunset, whatever? Would they be better off if you got rid of no taxes on tips? Would they be in a better situation than they are with no taxes on tips?
Well, no, because what happens? It'll bump them. So what happens is when you reach that medium, and if you happen to be making more, then you're going to be put back in there to pay them taxes on the extra. So what you're doing is probably just evening out. It's not really giving them no more money. I don't know if you know how that works, but see, when it came to certain tips, a lot of times those you don't even know if you're getting tips because they're paid in cash. So you can't even say that. So I mean,
so you're telling me no tax on tips?
You can track them. You can track them there. But again, once you get to that 12,500, then you're back to paying taxes. Which, what if you make $25,000 in tax? Guess what? You're going to be taxed anyway.
So you're telling me no tax on? So you're telling me no tax on tips really doesn't benefit anybody?
It's not really benefiting people. It really isn't. I mean, like I said, I'll take that. I ain't gonna say it's not benefiting. You may not have to pay, but it's not really putting that much more money in your pocket.
But some money is better than no money, right?
Well, no, that's true.
Okay.
But however, blood money is even worse.
Well, that's a different story. But what I'm saying is everything about Trump is not bad. No tax on tips is not bad. I mean, some of the things he was just on television now today at a Mack truck plant, bringing jobs back to America. Is that not a good thing?
Yeah, at a Mack truck, and then here in, where was it, Ohio, another plant closed, and hundreds of people lost their jobs. So listen, we again, if you're going to point it out, point it all out. His shit don't equal out, Tim. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying it equals out.
You can give him all the credit you'd like, but what he does is not benefiting the American people as a whole. It's not. I'm sorry.
Well, they're still voting for him, Ms. Mobetta. A lot of people still voting for Trump.
And like I keep telling you, when Satan was kicked out of heaven, a third of the angels came with him. And a third of these goofies voted for him.
What about preventing Iran? What about preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon? Is that not a good thing?
We've been doing that for the last 30 years, ain't it?
No, he took.
Have it not been about 30 years since we did that?
Well, he actually stepped up and done something about it. He took out the Ayatollah, took out the top level of their regime. Is that not a good thing?
No. How much did we have to pay for that shit?
Couple dollars.
They cried when Obama gave them $1.7 billion of their money. But where's the $300 billion coming from now?
Yeah.
That we're giving them.
Couple dollars. He beautified the nation's capital. Is that not a good thing?
Yeah, then they go in there and had his peoples cut the goddamn reflector pool and killing all the ducks and shit in there, full of algae and all of that shit, so his peoples can get the contract, huh? So they can get more money.
Plus or minus a little, Algie.
Stop playing. Stop playing with me today, Tim. Stop.
You and I got nothing but love for you. A little bit of Algie you never heard. A little bit of Algie you never heard.
Listen, it's my birthday's in 2 days. That's the only reason why I'm being nice. And I know yours is coming up too.
Yeah, it is. It's real close.
This is cancer season, clock it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, no, he needs to go. They're trying to cheat, with the gerrymandering and all of that stuff. The only way he wins is to cheat. He got court cases to prove that. Everything he does, he cheats. Cheats or file bankruptcy, and he's trying to bankrupt the shit out of this country.
Well, it ain't like the people seem to feel that way. They're letting him do what he wants to do. I got to move it on, Mr. Mobetta. I agree with you. The spending is out of control. I don't like the way he's spending. I don't like the way he's rewarding contracts and stuff to his friends and the way he's using our money. I can't disagree with that at all.
Out of control. It's out of control. And I don't understand how MAGA agree with that, because I know a bunch of people that actually support him are not even in the stock market. Half of them don't even have 401ks. They living off Medicaid. Well, probably what used to be Medicaid, but they don't want to be outdone, so they're gonna keep riding with it. They're gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, and then and guess what? They're gonna still be blaming Obama, blaming Biden.
That's probably true.
Everything now is on Trump's hands.
Well, you can't blame Biden for the Iran. You can't blame Biden for the Iran war, and that's a big one on Trump. Mr. Mobetta, thank you for coming through. Tap the screen, get us up to 80,000, if you will. Tap the screen. Lazy. Some of you folks show your boy some love. Help out with the hat mustache. Wow, we ain't nowhere near to go. Help your boy out with the hat mustache. TikTok goals. Fetterman, dirtbag left surgeon in New York. What does that mean? The Fetterman is a fun. I'm looking at News Nation I got on behind me. There's a ticker that says Fetterman, dirtbag left surgeon in New York. So apparently somebody, Mamdani is starting to endorse candidates. Mamdani out of the mayor of New York. Look, I know this is going to really piss off some of my beloved MAGA, but just like how Trump was a new movement, the movement for socialist candidates is growing in this country. The movement for candidates that promote openly being socialists it's growing. It's probably going to make you regret the day you ever tried to call Obama or Nancy Pelosi a socialist, because now you're getting the real ones. You're getting the real ones that are coming up. Obama was not a socialist. Neither was Nancy Pelosi or Hillary Clinton. They were not even close to what a real socialist is. But now you're starting to get folks that are openly admitting it. You're gonna be longing for the days of Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi to return if you get these guys. But yeah, Mamdani is now endorsing folks. Listen, I said this when Mamdani won in New York. He has a future ahead of him. He has a future ahead of him beyond being the mayor of the largest city in this country. He actually has a future ahead of him. I think he could be senator, certainly a congressperson is probably a downgrade almost from being mayor of New York. But I believe he could be a senator and beyond. Probably if he ran for governor in New York, he would probably win. I've had New York folks on the show that are actually being governed by Mamdani. Not all of these fucking MAGA and folks on the right that are in Wyoming somewhere talking about how bad he is. I'm talking about people that are living in the city being governed by his rules. They love that dude. They actually love that guy, with the exception of some of the ultra wealthy. But the average citizens in New York, they love that dude. So I do believe if Mamdani ran for senator or governor of New York, he'd probably win. So, and he's young, by the way. That dude is like in early to mid 30s. He's young. So there's a future ahead of him. That guy actually definitely has a future. Somebody in the comments, JJ saying president. Not yet. Not yet. Let capitalism continue to fuck people over a little bit more. Let us get closer to the point where they're talking more and more about Social Security going away. Let Trump get rid of whatever remains of Obama's health care. Let capitalism put a few more million Americans flat on their back with no hope under the Republican Party. And then he comes in with that, bright white smile and friendly attitude talking about how he can help people out. I'm telling you, that dude has a future ahead of him. Mamdani has a future. Looking in the comments, J.D. Vance will be younger than JFK, youngest president ever. I don't think Trump is going to put JD Vance at the top. I see Marco Rubio. I think most of the folks on the right, this is where you can correct me, Mr. T2, because I'm obviously not one of those folks. If I'm getting it wrong, you let me know. But I do believe there are more folks on the right that would rather see Marco Rubio propelled to the top than JD Vance. I still, even though Marco Rubio's connected to the Trump administration, I believe Marco Rubio has more outreach potential than JD Vance. JD Vance, like Trump, is for the most part now just valuable to the far right. Marco Rubio still is his part, he's still Hispanic, he's still Cuban, he's to me, his resume is stronger than JD Vance. He don't have all the dumbass quotes and actions of JD Vance. I mean, to me, the biggest challenge to Marco Rubio if he ran for office would be connecting him to all the shit he did under Trump. I just think JD Vance would not be as strong. But if I'm wrong, it is what it is. Rubio short, believe me, women notice. Oh, you said Rubio's height? You said because Rubio is short, women would notice that. JD Vance, your side is the women on your side is voting for what their husbands say anyway. So Marco Rubio being short, I don't think it would hurt him with the Republicans. You guys are the women on the Republican side of the aisle are just doing what the dudes say do anyway. How short is he, Goddess? I don't know. Alexa, how tall is Marco Rubio?
Marco Rubio is 5 feet 9 inches tall.
Thank you. Alexa, stop. That ain't that short. 5'9". I mean, look, everybody's short compared to my 6'6" ass, but 5'9" is not that short, is it, for a dude? More women vote now than men. Yeah, but your side of the aisle, Mr. T2, the women on your side vote like the men tell them. I got videos, the fucking, what is her name? Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife. People are part of that whole turning point thing. You got women on screen talking about it wouldn't be bad if women didn't have a right to vote. You got conservative women saying that they believe the country would be better off if women didn't have a right to vote. You would never hear a liberal woman say no crazy shit like that. You would never hear that. Anyway, looking in the comments, you actually got conservative women saying that it would be okay to take away their right to vote. I actually had some clips of that. I was going to do a show on that. Actual conservative women. And of course, I've had everybody on here from, what is his name? Gen X. I've had some far right MAG on, Gen X and Proud Boy. I've had some conservative men on here also that say women shouldn't be able to vote. So you get a strong conservative environment, women may lose that right to vote. I don't know one man who wouldn't cheat if they wouldn't get caught. Not me, not one. Wow. Who's that? Carol O'Neill says, I don't know one man who would not cheat if they would not get caught. Not one. I don't buy that because there's some men who are deeply religious. There's some men. There are some men. And by the way, I mean, do you believe women would cheat if they thought they wouldn't get caught? They said, I don't know one man that wouldn't cheat. And I see in the comments, Mojack says this one. He says he wouldn't cheat if he would not cheat. So I don't know. That's a strong statement. I think there's a lot of them out there. I'm not going to pretend like that. That does apply to a lot of them, but there are plenty of women that would cheat that wouldn't get caught either. What was the nationality of the people on the Epstein Island? Huh? I don't know. Let me go back. Obviously, a bunch of white men. We know that. Thank you, James Reed, for the flow state. And some of you folks help your boy out. The hat and mustache TikTok cap goes. We'll take the next caller. Get us up to 80,000, if you will. We'll go to user 5544. Good evening, user. 8 years married, never cheated, says Kareem the Dream. There you go. Some folks have been straight. User, good evening. User, are you there? Okay, apparently not. We'll move it on. 8 years married, never cheated. There you go. See, some people, there's some good guys out there. I've had, listen, I've even had some dreams where I woke up and realized the whole night I dreamed about being a good guy myself. So there's good guys out there. There are good guys out there. I even dreamed about it once. I have no sexual desires for any woman other than mine, says Big Dog. Yeah. There you go. See there? Lots of good guys in the audience. Lots of good guys. I'm in good company. I like that. J.D. Vance will be the first president with a beard since Grant. You got a lot of confidence, Mr. T2. You got a lot of confidence in J.D. Vance, huh? I've been married for 20 years and never cheated since Lonely Therapy. You've been married for 20 years and your name is Lonely Therapy. What are you, fucking, what is his name? Al Bundy? That sounds like a name Al Bundy would have. Lonely Therapy, married for 20 years. That don't sound very complimentary to the marriage. I agree that they are Christians. That does not mean that conservatives and Republicans are attracted. You're talking about to LGBTQ community. I don't believe that all Republicans are attracted to members of the LGBTQ community either, but I do believe there are some that are anti-LGBTQ in public and are banging them behind the scenes. I do believe there's some of that out there. I do believe that. Tamara, good evening.
What up, Tim?
I see the comments. Just Enrique says Lonely Therapy, 4 touchdowns in a single game. There you go, Al Bundy. So what am I getting wrong, Tamara? I saw you in the comments. What am I getting wrong?
Nothing really.
No.
Nothing really.
So
what's up with you?
We're talking about the Save America Act. Are you aware of this, where Trump is trying to get this?
He's still trying to get that?
Yeah. Very much so.
You know what? I did hear him talk about it the other day.
Very much so.
I did hear him talk about it.
Here's the 5 parts of it. And I'll tell you right off the bat, I don't understand why the last 2 are even part of it, but all voters must show an ID, or all voters must show a rather. Number 2, all voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. Number 3, no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. Number 4, as part of the Save America Act, number 4 is no men in women's sports. Go figure. And number 5 is no transgender mutilation surgery for children. I don't know why those last 2 are even part of this.
I'm so tired of this administration. This is like it's like a bunch of children running the country right now. I swear to you, it's like characters from South Park running America.
Why do you say that?
I kid you not.
Explain what you mean.
Like the whole thing. Look how they act. Listen to Operation Midnight Hammer. It was a hammer, so therefore it was Operation Midnight Hammer. These dozes off. Like
Operation Epic Fury.
Old man, he goes from acting like a child to dozing off like an old fart. It just makes no sense.
Well, let me ask you this. In the comments, Mr. Boogie says, what is wrong with this? What is wrong with the, I mean, number 1, all voters must show a voter ID. Do you have any problem with all voters showing a voter ID?
I think you should show ID, but I don't know how your license looks, but in New Jersey, on the back of your license, you have a barcode that can be scanned. I don't understand what's so hard about, and I should be able to pull up all your information and show that you're a citizen.
Yeah.
Because when you were talking about earlier about showing ID, yeah, fine. I do think you should be able to have. You should have to show some type of ID. Yeah. But that's as far as it should go. All this having to prove, that should be your proof that you're a citizen right there. Because, like you said, the DMV has all your information. You have to get it. They're not going to give you a license without you showing proof that you're a birth certificate. New Jersey has, I think, 7 points. So you have to do like a Social Security, a birth certificate, a utilities bill, and I think your full, like your ID that's not expired counts as points. You know, like all of them counts for a certain amount of points. I think like your birth certificate is like 2 points. Social Security card is like another amount of points.
Here's the problem I have. Here's the problem I have, especially for women. Okay, you got number 1 is voters must show an ID. Number 2 is proof of citizenship. So if a woman has gotten married and taken her husband's name, her ID is going to say something different than her citizenship papers are, because her birth certificate is going to show her maiden name. Her ID is going to show her married name. So she's got to also present documents to show what made it change as well, like a marriage certificate or something like that. So there's other documents that may come up.
But that's why I think it should, like you said, it should be done with like going to the DMV or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you go for your ID, hey, my name is no longer Wilson. I've got married and now my last name is Johnson. and here's my birth certificate, you know, my marriage certificate, and you prove that, and now your ID goes from Johnson to Wilson, and you're done, or Wilson to Johnson, or whatever I said.
I'll say it like this. I'll say it like, because I see in the comments, Marty Marr says, how are they going to register every male citizen for the military at 18? To me, with every male in this country getting that selective service form that came in the mail, you know all of them are citizens. So anybody that has ever received a selective service form, they should instantly not have to prove they're a citizen. You already know that because you sent that shit out to them. And as a Gen X guy, you sent it out to me back in the 90s, so you knew back then. Why the hell am I proving I'm a citizen in 2026? I mean, so they know this stuff already.
You're right. I agree with you. Like, why should you have to? The whole thing is, the whole SAVE Act is, like you said, is voter suppression. That's all it is. They don't want to admit that that's what it is because of part of the code, and they want to ship to a sinks to the bottom of the ocean. But everybody that thinks with logical sense, and I don't mean just liberals or Democrats. I just mean people that just with common sense thinking know that this is Jim Crow 2.0. That's what it is. It's to stop people from voting. And it's going to actually affect people on both sides, but they're too dumb to realize it.
I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told Gates' grandma, I think she was talking about the passports are going to affect white people more than blacks in rural areas, or red people more than, it's going to affect red people more than blue areas because more people in blue areas get passports. I don't agree that it's going to affect people on both sides like you guys are saying, because I believe the scrutiny will be heavier in areas where they want to suppress the vote. Just like I mentioned during the Jim Crow era, they passed poll taxes and literacy tests that were supposed to apply to everybody. But they made sure they only demanded it from people they didn't want to vote. The guy who they thought was going to vote their way, they may have not charged him the poll tax. Or they may have not even did a grade on his literacy test. He could put any answer down. They ain't even going to grade it. They're going to put the scrutiny, like they're going to come in there and say, well, your passport, your signature don't look right. It don't match the ID. The guy that's going to vote their way, they're not even going to check his IDs. The passport will be good enough. So I do believe the scrutiny is going to happen more on the people they don't want to vote.
I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, there's a lot of, like in the urban area, I've never seen, like I live in like an urban area, so when I go to vote, most of the time it's the people that's the poll workers, or people, or most people of color. Black and Spanish people.
Get rid of them. Say them folks are biased. They'll get rid of them. They ain't biased.
We're gonna put a Molly up in there, Lily or somebody in the smack dead of the hood in the poll.
I'm just saying. All of a sudden, you're gonna have. Listen, Trump has never been involved since Trump came down the golden escalator back in 2015. He has not been involved in any election where he has not claimed fraud. So yes, he's gonna be claiming that it is always Democrat areas. It's gonna be 100% Democrat areas, Democrat cities. He's gonna be saying yes, the polling places, the people are not checking IDs properly or they're not doing something right. It's gonna be 100% Democrat fraud. He's gonna be alleging that. Yes.
Yeah, and he won. But except every election was fraud except for this one, right? Because he won this one. He won this one at a huge landslide, like nobody's ever seen before.
But he did indicate that. But he still, even though he won, he was saying that Democrats were cheating. Though he does not see Republican fraud. It does not exist in his eyes. It's only Democrats.
I think he's a little off. I mean, everything he says, they're literally asking him about the reflecting pool. They're asking him, like, where's your proof? Where's your evidence? And he's just like, oh, it's on camera. Like, you have to ask per people's for the footage. Like, what? Did he say that yesterday?
Yeah. I think what Trump is, I think one thing that Trump has really benefited probably throughout his life, even as a businessman, is he's been able to say stuff and nobody's ever demanded proof. I mean, he's a rich guy. He's a celebrity. He's got a lot of power, a lot of popularity. He's probably been able to go to companies and everything, get loans and everything, just say something and people just bought it as the truth. I need to take out a loan. I'm worth this many $1 billion. They didn't even check it. He's probably been able to do that most of his life.
What does that tell you about people? Like they believe anything somebody says as long as it glitters a little.
Yeah. Somebody at that level, yeah. You just take it as true. I mean, you just assume this guy got plenty of money. Everybody's treating him like he does, and you don't question it. I don't want to get on his bad side. So he wants to borrow money, you write him a check, or he wants to do this, you let him do that. He wants to go in there, you let him in.
Must be nice, I'll tell you that much. But like this whole thing with this Iran deal, he keeps on comparing his deal to Barack's, and he's already paid. We've already given Iran more money than that $1.5 billion that Barack gave, because it was supposedly in cash. Now, do you really see them coming over with planefuls of cash? Where's the evidence of that? They really went to the banks and emptied out these banks and took cash money to another country. How are they spending that money?
I'm gonna tell you
How
something.
are they spending American money?
To me, this is where the liberal in me come out. I don't think there's any way possible to spin the deal made by Trump in the JCPOA with Obama and somehow walk away thinking Trump's deal is better. Even if Obama gave them $1.7 billion of our tax money, and the reports are that it came as their own assets being unfrozen. But but let's say it actually was our tax money. When you look at all of the shit that has happened from Trump, 13 Americans lost their lives. We've got all kinds of bases that have been rendered useless, costing billions of dollars. We've lost aircraft and shit. I mean, when you look at all the stuff that we've lost, all of the money we got to spend to replace all the weapons and bombs and tomahawks we use bombing Iran, $1.7 billion. Trump has spent probably about 200-300 times that much. I would tell you this. Trump would probably give you $1.7 billion of his own money to get a do-over. That's how bad I think his deal is compared to Obama. If he had, let's say God or somebody came and told him, if you allow me to take $1.7 billion out of your account, I'll let you rewind time back to February. He would pay that money. He would actually pay that money. His deal is that bad that he would pay the money out of his own pocket for a do-over. I don't know why people are saying his deal is better. On any metric, it's worse.
He's literally talking, he's literally sitting there lying to you, telling you, like, oh, Obama paid all these Boeing 740s was full of cash and all that stuff. You're lying. And like everybody knows you're lying, but yet still they're stepping up there clapping like seals, bigging them up. It makes no sense. Like, who's gonna really give somebody that much money in cash? And why would Iran accept that in American money?
It's the same deal about the free jet we were getting from Qatar. It's like, why the hell your party tells all of the folks who were expecting entitlements and welfare and shit, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Yet you keep telling us people hanging around you are just giving you millions and millions of dollars for free. That don't make it. They gave you a free jet. Now they're going to give Iran free money. Why are all these people hanging around you just handing them? They suddenly have a bunch of free money to give. What happened to there's no such thing as a free lunch?
Today or yesterday or whatever, he's saying that there's supposedly like the money that's Iran is going to get, the $11 billion, is going to buy American corn and American soybeans and American wheat and stuff like that. And that's what they're going to buy. And then Iran was like, no, we're not. We're not buying that. Like,
who do you trust more? Who do you trust more? Trump's been releasing a lot of information since this war began. So has the Iranian government. Who do you trust more?
I hate to say it, but because there's actually people from other countries, Pakistan and stuff, on this, and they're not saying what Trump is saying either. So I honestly got to say them. I hate to say that.
Wow.
Because I mean, like, I am American and I do root for our country, but honestly, who's more believable? Trump is just talking out of his ass, like he just like, and if they don't do this, then we're gonna bomb them out of existence and all this other stuff. Like he loves talking tough. That's why I said he's like a child. He's almost like a child running this country, because like playing president, like a bunch of the kids from South Park or plain president, and that's what's running our government right now.
Well, he's threatening to do it again. I mean, in fact, he told them they were where were they, in Sweden or whatever, and he told them that if they close the strait, he said you better. He said you guys may not even get home. They at least Sweden, because he was threatening to kill the Iranian the negotiators the other day
in another country.
Yeah,
in a sovereign country while they're meeting. This is what people cheer on about. But they're gonna realize, they're gonna feel it when the gas shoots back up to $5.
Well, right now it's coming down. It's coming down right now. So let's give it a little bit of time. I got to move it on, but let's give Trump a little hope that maybe he'll bring it down.
Yeah, once the strategic reserves run out, though, that's when it's going to start going back up. It's starting to go back up right now, if you pay attention.
Well, they had claimed it was going to go up in July, so that's around the corner, so we'll see. But if it goes down to $2 and something a gallon, would you give Trump credit?
Would I give him credit for that?
No.
I mean, it wasn't. That's where it was at before he started this stupid war.
That is true.
So, honestly, no. It was at gas was basically between since the election last year and currently up into this explosion or whatever war, whatever you want to call it now, happened. Gas was pretty much going down under Biden, but nobody wants to admit that. But gas and it didn't drop that much since Trump.
Because Biden and Kamala Harris were not as good as patting themselves in the back, letting folks know what they were doing. Trump is excellent at that. I got to go tomorrow, though.
100% agree.
Yeah, he's good at it. Appreciate it. Tap the screen. Get us on up over the 100,000 hump. We're getting close. JC says, what's going on, Tim? Good to see you. Real quick, I do have a poll going on YouTube. Which government do you trust more about the war? The Trump administration or the Iranian government? Just started. Only 12 participants so far. We'll let it climb up to 100 or two. 67%. 67% of the voters so far says they trust the Iranian government. Now it's 71%. 29% says the Trump administration. So less than a third so far are trusting the Iranian government. Wow, that's crazy. I got to figure out how to do polls on TikTok. I don't know how to do them on here, but I got to figure that out. Get us up over the 100,000 hump. We'll tap, and I see a lot of folks in the comments are saying around, wow, you trust the word of the enemy more than your own president. Does that make you less patriotic? Does that mean you are not a patriot to your own country? You know, Trump talks about being patriotic, being a patriot. Does that mean you liberals, you blue-haired liberals, you tree-hugging liberals, you're unpatriotic to your own country? Tap the screen. According to Mr. Global, the prices are going back up tomorrow. Is that true, Kareem? I should have filled up. Tim, because Trump lies so damn much, says Lisa and Co. Jim. As the song would say, from head to toe. Yeah, look, I'm not going to argue with that. I've talked to plenty of MAGA on the show that try to convince me that Trump never lies. I think Straight Talk, who hasn't been on here in a while, Straight Talk is one of those ones who said Trump has never lied before. Yikes. Yeah, he does. Listen, he's not always honest. I'm not even going to remotely pretend like that. He said, in fact, I think one of the bigger issues is he says a lot of stuff that doesn't come with evidence or proof. Like right now, he's telling you that this reflective pool was, messed with by vandals. It's just that in defense of Trump, I got to say he's really good at getting folks to believe stuff without having to prove it. I mean, there's still about a third of America that believes the election was stolen in 2020 by Biden. They don't have proof of that. At best, and I'm being generous here, at best, you can point to things that look suspicious. Well, when I went to bed, Trump was way up and I woke up, or the mail-in vote. You can point to things that look suspicious. There's absolutely no proof whatsoever that Trump won that election by a landslide. And you got half the country, or a third of the country, a third of the voting public believed that. And they believed it the night Trump said it. They believed it on January 6th. You see how those folks acted on January 6th? They believed Trump then. And the election was still being investigated. Like, Trump just lost the election 2 months ago. He lost on November 4th. You're storming the Capitol on January 6th. He's still president. His people are still investigating the election. You don't have any proof to be running in this building right now, base. You're doing this because of what this dude is telling you. He ain't showed you shit. It's only been 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago. He ain't showed you nothing yet. Why the hell are you doing all this on his behalf? So he does have the ability to just say something and people go ape shit off of it. People just believe it. You voted for Trump, LOL. I would tell you if I did, Brandon. No problem with that. I don't have a problem with people who did vote for Trump. Look, there are legitimate reasons to vote for Trump. There are legitimate reasons to vote for Biden or Harris or whoever was running against Trump. There's legitimate reasons to vote for both sides. Even if you're African American, I used to say that. There's reasons to be Black MAGA. It depends on, what your issues are. Like Handsome Conservative, he's very, very pro-life. If you're pro-life, you have no business voting for a liberal. If that's one of your biggest issues, you are pro-life, protecting the sanctity of life, you have no business voting for liberals. Talking to my 2A crowd, 2A absolutists, people who believe you should be able to own grenades and bazookas and 50 cals, even if you live in Manhattan on the 40th floor. I live on the 40th floor of this high rise and my neighbor got a 50 cal in his crib. Don't know where he'll ever use that, but it's okay to do that. So if you're a 2A absolutist, you have no business voting liberal. I mean, there's legitimate reasons to vote right, vote MAGA, vote Trump. Depends on what your issues are. So we don't fault you for what you vote for. We may disagree with a lot of it, but it is what it is. Why are you not talking about Tucker Carlson leaving the Republican Party and saying that party is evil? Did he say the party was evil? I didn't hear that party. It's good you asked that because it was meant to be part of the show. We didn't get to that, but that was meant to be part of today's show. And it just didn't come up.
Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at this point, how could I or any American voter support a political party that's not loyal to the United States, that puts the interests of a foreign country above those of its own citizens? It's not possible to vote for people like that. There's no defending this because it's immoral, and it's exactly the opposite of what a political party in a democracy is charged with doing, which is representing its own voters, its own citizens, its own nation, and they're not doing that. So no, I'm out. And if I'm out, then I think a lot of other people are out. I would not support the.
I think he's partially right. He says if I'm out, a lot of other people are out. The problem is they're not going to vote Democrat. They may not show up to vote at all, but I don't know. It depends on how well Trump is able to continue convincing the Republicans that the Democrats are going to destroy America. Because if you can convince convince the Republicans that the Democrats are going to destroy this country, because if you can convince the Republicans that the Democrats are going to have everybody's kids trans, look, you know what the hate stuff is. I always use the Muslims, immigrants, the LGBTQ, and of course the Black people. And here's what I'm talking about. Muslims, if you can convince everybody that if you let the Democrats run the country, the Muslims are going to just have Sharia law taking over all of our big cities. If you can convince the Republicans that we're going to have open borders and immigrants from insane asylums and prisons are going to flood the country, that's Muslims and immigrants. If you can convince the Republicans that the Democrats are going to let the blue-haired transgender people give gender mutilation surgery to your children and turn all your kids gay, or, play against them in girls' sports, there's another. And of course, with the African Americans, if you can convince the Republicans that you leave it up to the Democrats, they're going to be letting African Americans loot and burn whole cities down and BLM this and BLM that and giving them DEI and affirmative action. This is what you hear from the Trump administration. This is why some folks suggest it's about hate, is they do have negative aspects of all of these groups of people. But the point I'm trying to make is if you can convince Republican voters that all that stuff is likely, they might be willing to not side with Tucker Carlson and hang on to Trump. because Trump is telling them, if you vote for me, I'm going to help you out with all this. You'll never be Sharia law, because he's talking about getting rid of Muslims and kicking them out of the country. Total and complete ban on Muslims. You hear what he's doing to the LGBTQ community. That's not favorable to that community. And I think there's still plenty of us, despite the conversation being about trans all the time, there's plenty of folks on the left that believe that the goal is to overturn gay marriage as well. So the LGBTQ stuff is it has a good chance of going beyond just anti-trans stuff. Look, my opinion, maybe you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but my opinion is, if the Republican Party had the chance, they would roll back gay marriage as well. They would roll that back as well. And then, of course, like I said, with the African-American community, you take your pick on what's going on there. But anytime an African-American is talking about the police treated them wrong, or there's a major case where the African-American is either fighting for justice or fighting to prevent from going to jail, MAGA's on the other side of that case. Just you can tell where MAGA stands on any issue involving race. Just go and ask the black community, what side are you on? MAGA's on the other side of it. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's an African American that's being charged with a crime and trying to prevent from going to prison, or an African American that's been a victim of a crime and trying to get justice, or his family's trying to get justice. Doesn't matter. Whatever side the African Americans are on, the MAGA's on the other side. And in many cases, they're donating money and all kinds of other stuff to them. So it's the Democrats that are the ones that were for slavery, and the right is, the Republicans freed the slaves. That ain't what's happening in 2026. We can go back to 1800 if you want to, but that ain't what's happening now. All you got to do is ask the African American community where you stand on an issue, and there's a good chance, a high likelihood, that the MAGA side of the aisle is on the other side of that issue. I don't care what the issue is. I really don't care what the issue. They're on the other. This is why when folks always say, well, why do blacks always vote Democrat? Get off the plantation. Think for yourselves. I make it clear on every time this conversation come up. Put 10,000 African Americans in a coliseum or an auditorium somewhere. 20,000, 30,000, a million, whatever. Have them come up with 5 or 6 issues that they believe is most important to them. MAGA's on the other side of all 5 of those issues. Every time. You could put 20,000 of them in a coliseum in Dallas, red state, 20,000 of them of coliseum in California, blue state. No matter where you do it at, MAGA's going to be on the other side of all those issues. Every time. So that's why when folks ask, well, why do you always vote Democrat? That has a lot to do with it. It ain't got nothing to do with the media or that. No, it's that. And that applies to Bush, Reagan, any of them. It ain't just Trump. That has applied to all of them. If you could have done it back in the 80s, the supporters of Reagan were going to be on the other side of all those issues. Most likely the supporters of George H.W. and George W. Bush are going to be on the other side of all those issues. That is why they continue voting Democrat. It's not that the Democrats are superior or fantastic, but they are on some of those same sides. They are on the same side on some of those issues. So that's what happens. In the comments, they have hate in their heart because of a war that ended in 1865. Hopefully not all of them, Chris. Hopefully not all of them. The problem is the Democrats in power would do everything you just said they would do, and you know it. The other side is on the opposing side of all those issues. You're going to have a hard time coming up with a reason not to vote Democrat with that being the case. Even if you want to indicate the Democrats are just giving you lip salad, or they're just pandering, as MAGA Reacts often says with Juneteenth. They're just pandering. The other side is anti-you on every level. So you're going to go with the panderer. You're going to go with the guy that gives you a little bit of lip service. The right is on the opposite side of all of their issues. And it's been that way, I think, most of our lives. If you're at least Gen X, it's been that way most of our lives. In the comments, real quick, Republicans trick not wealthy whites and minorities into voting against their own interests. Republicans love the undereducated that they crank out in red states. I don't think Republicans trick minorities into voting against. Well, I guess so. You might be right, because the Hispanic community Trump did pretty well with the Hispanic community, and he did better with the black community too. Trump did better with the black community. Happy boy with the hat and mustache TikTok goes alter ego. Alter ego, you always show your boy some love. Thank you for the support. Thank you. One of the real ones. Been there day one real one. Thank you. In the comments, black people voted their interests always, says Kevin Peak. I think most people vote their interests, or they vote for what they think are their interests. You can, like, I think the Hispanic community voted their interests when they voted for Trump. They thought they were voting their interests. What Trump promised and what he's delivering are two different things. So you can, like the citizens of New York, I cannot think of the name of the African-American mayor that they had, Mamdani just replaced. He didn't do right by the people in New York, but I'm sure he preached like he would. Just like Trump preached like he would do right by the immigrants. And then he came in there and did something different. Real quick, going back to the comments or the box, we'll go to Lewis. Good evening, Lewis, or JC. JC, good evening. JC, are you there?
Yes,
Okay,
I am.
I think just when you said yes, I am, and I clicked you off. Well, come back up. We'll bring you back. Lewis, we'll bring you up next. Lewis, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Hey, how's it going, Tim?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
I think you got it wrong on Tucker Carlson.
Explain.
Tucker Carlson is smart enough to know that Trump is not in the runnings for anything after his term now. Tucker Carlson is trying to take over the MAGA side of the house. He's trying to, him and Marjorie Taylor Greene are dragging as many of them in their direction as they can.
I think Carlson may be doing that. I think Carlson may be dragging some MAGA. Marjorie Taylor Greene is all over CNN and Cuomo and shit like that. That ain't doing them to me but turning off MAGA. I think she's going on left-wing programs to trash Trump. Carlson, I don't think he's doing that as much.
What I'm saying is that you got to figure, MAGA is just like the Green, what was the name of that party that they had before MAGA?
Tea Party?
The Tea Party. That's what MAGA is. MAGA is the old Tea Party.
Yeah.
When Trump goes away and the slogan "Make America Great" goes away, MAGA goes away. They'll just turn into something else.
I don't know if I believe
They'll just
that.
turn into something else. Ain't nobody else gonna run off that tired, weak ass slogan no more.
I think that. See, I disagree. I think the red hat will probably be.
Tim, you're gonna be throwing that red hat away in 2029. Trust me, it ain't gonna mean shit.
Let me tell you what to me, the red hat will probably be the most conservative symbol we've seen in our lifetime. Probably the most conservative symbol since the Confederate flag. This hat will be a statement. This hat will be around. Certain groups of people, not all Republicans, but this hat will be a statement for the rest of your life.
Tim, let me tell you something. I'm 67.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember when the rebel flag was the red hat.
Yeah.
When they flew that just as much as they were wearing that red hat.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that rebel flag as much as you see that red hat, and you won't see that red hat when somebody else come up with some other shit that's racist. It's that simple. Something else will take the place of that MAGA shit. I'm telling you, it's going to go away.
I don't know.
Simple as that.
I actually think that the MAGA hat's going to. I mean, I think that it did so well as a slogan. It's going. I mean, look, it will eventually go. I won't say go away. It'll eventually die down. Just like the conservative symbol has died down some. It ain't won away, and at any given time it could resurge, just like the MAGA hat. The MAGA hat ain't gonna go away. It'll die down, but it'll always be there.
Tim, do you have that image in your head of that little girl being escorted into school by the National Guards?
Topeka, Kansas, Board of Education, yeah. Being spat on.
You know that image in your head, right? You know some of those same people. In fact, even that little girl is still alive now.
Yeah.
And none of those people admit that they were out there throwing rocks and spitting on that little girl to this day. I guarantee you.
Yeah, but these people nowadays are in 4K there, Lewis, so they can't deny. The camera clarity is a lot better now.
And neither can these, but you just don't hear from them. You won't hear shit from MAGA, especially what you don't understand is when Donald Trump gets out, number one, if the Democrats take over the Senate and the House, his ass is going to get impeached.
True.
Let's just be for real.
Would that be good for the country, though? You see what happened when they tried to impeach him last time? It just made him more stronger.
Everybody tired of this what's good for the country bullshit that you guys be running. No, yeah, it'll be good for the country. It'll be good for the world. The world wants this motherfucker gone, man. It ain't just the left or whatever. The whole world wants him gone. Every other country, every one of our allies want him gone. Trust me, Israel is not an ally. Israel is a trading partner. They are not an ally of ours. They didn't come to our rescue on 9/11. They didn't fight with any of us. They didn't do anything for us. Why are we doing this for them? Because they didn't do that for us.
Why do you think Trump was able? Why do you believe, in your opinion? What do you think made? Why do you think Trump was able to be convinced to go into Iran when it didn't work with Netanyahu on any other president? I mean, going all the way back to at least George H.W. Bush.
I honestly believe that Putin and Netanyahu has something on Trump. I don't know what it is, but I believe they have something on him. You got to figure both of those organizations have some of the top information groups in the world. They got something on him. Trust me on that. This guy caters to dictators. That's what you seen that new book that came out today where he compared himself to,
yes,
man, even the mustache man, Stalin.
Yeah.
He compared himself to some very, very, that's them in his words, him comparing himself to those people. Like he was honoring them. That is, I'm telling you something. I don't think he cares too much if they win the House because he don't care about none of those senators and congressmen and he don't care nothing about none of them. But he doesn't want them to win the Senate because if they win the Senate, he'll probably be impeached because some of those same senators that are now in the GOP will probably vote for him to be removed this time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, and this is what I don't understand with Trump, is that you can only make so many enemies. I mean, like, okay, that's one of the reasons why you got folks in this country that are damn near rooting for Iran. I mean, you don't even have, you don't ostracize even half of this country. Like, you can only, I mean, all in NATO, like, how many enemies are you going to make? Like, you're going to have the whole world jonesing for you. Like what you just said, the whole world wants them gone. Like, you know, even Hitler was smart enough to slowly pick enemies one by one. Like, he came in there, tariffed the whole world. Like, I don't know what would make one man take on the whole world at the same time.
Did you hear that story about how the French president or prime minister, whatever he is, kind of tricked Trump into signing that agreement with Iran?
No, I didn't hear that. What happened?
Well, act serious about that. Was he enticed to sign that thing in France when he was in that room with Macron? Macron had him sign that. He kind of tricked him.
In what way?
Trump didn't know what he was signing.
Tricked him.
I don't know. I just heard something about that. I just wondering if you did, because you talk to a lot more people than I do.
I haven't heard this.
It's something. I'll find out about it. I'll definitely let you know about it. But I think Macron probably, that's the only reason that Trump signed that deal with Iran was because he got bamboozled by Macron. I can't pronounce the guy's name.
Macron. Maybe he offered him some. Right. I don't know. I'd have to figure out what he offered. But the problem is with Trump, and man, I hate to say this about a U.S. president. I know my MAGA side of the house is not going to agree with me on this, but the problem with Trump is he can be bought. So when you know you got a man that can be bought, it's like it's easy to get him to do shit. I mean, what's crazy is this guy he's 80 years old. His kids are rich. I mean, he has generational wealth, multiple generations down the line. Why the hell can you still fucking be bought? Like, just greed. Like, you can't do nothing with the money. You got more money you could ever spend. Why are you still in a position where you can be bought? And it's pretty obvious Trump can be bought.
There's somebody with more than him.
He's not going to catch up to Elon or Bezos or Zuckerberg.
No, there's a lot of people ahead of
or
Trump
Gates.
Before he gets to Elon.
Yeah, he ain't gonna catch up to none of them.
He don't catch up to none of them. But my thing is that, but he wants to.
At the expense of the nation?
Absolutely. And you know what the funny thing about it is, we're still talking about Howard Hughes, right? Think about it. At his richest point, he was never a billionaire.
Mm. Well, they paid a lot more in taxes back then, and the American worker percentage-wise made a lot more money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something. In all actuality, the country was much better off when they were paying more instead of hoarding more. They just hoard their money. You know how when we got those stimulus checks? Tim, did you get a stimulus check?
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit burned a hole in your pocket. You went right out and spent that shit, right?
You didn't burn a hole in our pocket. Rich enough to let it sit around. You had to spend it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But when middle class and poor people get extra money, they spend it. We stimulate the economy. When rich people get extra money, like right now, while the Dow is doing so good and corporations are doing so good, the rest of us are still suffering. Everybody keeps saying the economy is doing good. No, just because the Dow is doing good, it doesn't mean the Dow is a poor example of how well the economy is doing. That's what people don't understand.
To me, the stock market
shows you how much corporations.
The stock market. To me, the stock market is to me the stock market is a poor example as well. To me, the example should be how much are people paying for goods and services. We can go with inflation. MAGA Reacts talks about inflation, but to me, the best example is how much are you spending for your daily items? You know, how far is your daily dollar getting you?
Absolutely. I'm telling you something right now. We go. I know now we go to the grocery store and I was just in BJ's. I spent $124 and I had probably like less than 15 items.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I mean, and it's just crazy. You know, and I mean, when do you really need to go to the store and buy a roll of toilet paper with 40 rolls in it? You know what I'm saying? So corporations have learned how to take out money unexpectedly without us even realizing it. You know what I'm saying? It looks like a great deal because you're getting 40 rolls of toilet paper, but damn, do you really need 40 rolls of toilet paper?
Well, see, the problem is that the corporations in the upper class, they do have a lot of the poor voters on their side. I mean, MAGA is a big defender of wealthy. If you're rich and you don't want to be forced to share your money or pay more in taxes, you have no business voting Democrat. You should be voting Republican. That's another reason to vote Republican. If you got money and you don't want the government forcing, like Imam Dani that's going to force rich people to share a little bit for the poor, you have no business voting for that because the Republican Party will let you keep all of your money.
Well, Tim, I'm going to tell you something. My brother who grew up the same way I grew up, we were maybe, you might say middle class or maybe a little above that back in the day. And I can tell you right now, my brother is very wealthy right now. He owns a trucking company. And I can tell you right now, he definitely feels like him and his counterparts should be paying more. Wow. Because he's been poor. People who've always had it good or people who are rich, you're right. They don't want to give that up. But if you've ever been poor, you know you need to do more to help people that are less fortunate than you are.
Yeah. Also, too, if you've been poor and you suddenly come into money, you do realize how much, because you've experienced both sides. You start realizing how much more the system benefits you when you're wealthy.
Absolutely. And you know that you could be doing, let me tell you something, Tim, if you got $40 and I take $2 from you, it's not going to hurt you that much. But if you got $40, now if you got $20, if you got $10 and I take $2 from you, it's going to hurt you. Yeah. But if you got $50 and I take $2 from you, you're not going to feel that much.
Yeah.
And that's where we are now. These guys are paying the same thing, if not less than what we're paying.
Yeah. I noticed that. That's why I've never came close to becoming rich, but I did come close to being somewhat middle class when I was purchasing properties. And that was one of the things I started noticing even myself. Like the more properties I bought, the more shit I could claim and write off. I mean, it just started getting better. Absolutely. Like it gets better as you make more money.
Tim, if I could tell you something right now, that because I'm 1099, you know, I have quite a few business, and I'm totally 100% 1099.
Mm-hmm.
If I told you how much taxes I pay, you would be pissed off.
As a 1099 guy, you can usually finagle and get around it. All your records are kept that accurate.
I'm telling you something, Tim. I make well into six figures. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't claim but probably about 20 of that.
Wow.
Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, because usually to me, I always thought when you're 1099, there's more ways to skirt the system than when you're W2.
Absolutely. Because you could write off someone, you write off so much stuff, man. If I'm walking out one of my clients' house and I break a shoestring, I'm gonna make them pay for it. You feel what I'm saying? You know,
that's what I'm talking about.
Let me tell you this story. Let me tell you this quick story. This is a good one. I went to a client's house just yesterday, and he came in the house. Well, I was sitting down with his sister actually because she was refinancing, and she said we were talking and stuff, and he came in, he sat down, he was talking. He had on a First Amendment shirt and a Second Amendment shirt on the front of his shirt. That's what was on the front of his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And he started talking, and somehow another Second Amendment came up, and he was saying that we don't want people touching it. And he says, I guess you could, he says, I said, well, yeah, it kind of makes me a little nervous when I go up in the woods. I usually carry my pew up when I go up in certain places and when I go in certain hoods. I'm aware of that. I say, but there's just too many guns on the street. I'm totally thinking that too many people, the irresponsible people, have guns. That's just number one with us in the United States. Too many irresponsible people have guns.
That's my take.
Because I tell you this, Tim, you got to think like this. Criminals don't get weapons from the gun store. They get them for irresponsible, legitimate gun owners. Yep. Whether they break into their homes or whether they leave them in their cars. When I was working in law enforcement, so many people leave their weapons in their cars and get them stolen out of their cars.
You know something? It's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned that because I was having a two-way debate with one of my right-wing friends this weekend at a barbecue, and they were saying the same thing. If you ban guns, a criminal will always be able to get a gun on the street. And I told them that similar to what you're talking about is that the street don't make guns. They say if you ban guns, criminals always be get a gun on the street, but they don't tell you where the street is getting their gun. And the overwhelming majority of guns weren't made on the street. You can print a weapon, but that ain't most guns. Most criminals that lose their gun, it's not a printed weapon. I mean, let's just be clear. It's not that's new technology that's still catching on. Most illegal guns used to commit crimes are not printed weapons.
Very expensive, Tim. They are very expensive too.
But here's the point I'm making. Here's the point I'm making is that when they say if you ban guns, only criminals that have guns because they can get a gun on the street. The fact is exactly what you just said. The overwhelming majority of guns that are taken from criminals were either bought, stolen, or found from a legal gun owner. So if you ban guns, the supply for criminals will dry up because that's where they're getting them all. They're getting them from legal gun owners. They ain't getting them from the street. The street is getting them from legal gun owners too. So that's where they're getting them. We are at the top of the pyramid as legal gun owners, supplying all the criminals with their weapons. That's what I was suggesting. It ain't these printed guns.
Absolutely.
That ain't.
Absolutely.
That's a small amount of weapons. Those printed guns. Most people ain't using that shit.
And I wouldn't even. I'm a big gun advocate, and I wouldn't even know how to even print a gun myself. And I got him. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I wouldn't know how to print no gun. I wouldn't even know where to go get one that was printed. So it's like, that's not even logical. The problem is that it's just too easy, even for law-abiding citizens, to get guns. My son, when I took my 21-year-old son to go get his first gun, pew-pew, the guy came over, got his ID, went back to go do a background check. We picked out a gun before he went back. We knew which pew-pew we were going to hit, right? Before we even got over to where the holsters were, that guy was back and told us his background check was good.
Wow. That's easy.
That's how easy and weak those background checks are here in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm telling you that right now. They're a joke. So you're right. If he probably would have had I think you got to do better than just a legal background check. I think you have to do all kinds of background check. I think you should have a mental health evaluation.
Yes.
You should have to have a physical. People don't get this right here. Even in the military, Tim, when I was a drill instructor, before we hand those soldiers their weapons, if we do quick assessments of their mental capabilities or whether or not before we hand them those weapons. And that's what people don't understand. We we have a process that we do to check to make sure. Like a good example, I might piss one of them off just to see how you going. I hand him a weapon. Just to see how you going. and see if his hand's going to tighten up when I hand him that weapon. And you know, if it does, I take it right back from him. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, no
It's
shit.
just little
Yeah,
simple-
no
it's just
shit.
little. It's just little simple stuff like that, you know. Or I get one of the other guys to put him to the edge and see if he gets pissed off with it, and see if I can catch him maybe trying to point his weapon at somebody, even if he's just playing around. It's just simple stuff we do to check people out. But just because a person hasn't been arrested, that's not a reason for them to go and buy an AR. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, listen, this is the left in me. I carry, I don't have a lot of weapons, but I'm the same way. I do believe that it's too easy in America to get a firearm. I look at, this is the way I say it. You could do statistics per 1,000 people, somebody's going to be defective. I mean, there's going to be somebody with a mental illness or something. I mean, so you can't just hand out weapons, because the more people you give weapons to, the more defective people that are going to get them as well. I mean, some people just don't have the temperament. Like, I'm going to bring up Carmelo Anthony. That's a kid that would not be a good candidate for a gun. I don't think Cal Rittenhouse was a good candidate for a gun. I don't think George Zimmerman was a good candidate for a gun. Some people, they don't have any business being around firearms. I mean, they will choose to use them when there are other options available.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think even myself, when I was a much younger man, I probably wouldn't have been a good candidate to carry a gun in the civilian world. Now, I got to figure I joined the military when I was 19. So I was carrying a gun pretty early. But
you were with training and all kinds of shit too, though.
Absolutely. But even after all that military training, early in my 20s, I probably still shouldn't have been allowed to carry one on public streets, because I still had that quick temper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Your testosterone and all that. I mean, I get it. Like I said, I do. Well, you could also raise the age of owning a firearm, maybe up to 25, when people are more responsible. I got to move it on, but I mean, that could have something to do with it too, because the guy who took all those lives in Uvalde, was he like 18 or something? He saved up money from his first check to buy 2 ARs. Like, dude was like 18 years old. He went in there and took all those students out. So I think you could raise the age as well.
I think the age limit is the first big step that they should make, and that is they maybe should go to 25, because that's when they say actually you're supposed to be mature by that time at age 25 anyway. So why not say that then? You know, everybody say, well, if you're 18 years old, you can go off and fight for your country. Yeah, but can't no soldier just walk down his arms room and take his weapon out any time and take it to the club with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I would also say, certainly in our neighborhoods, most of the people who are doing irresponsible things with firearms, they're probably under 25. I mean,
absolutely, no question about it.
So, I mean, once you get above that age, some of that stuff is out of you. I got to move it on, though, Lewis, as always. Appreciate it.
All right, Tim.
Thank you.
Hey, good line tonight, man. It was a real good line.
Appreciate that.
And
Thank you very much.
It was a real good line.
What?
You didn't keep Mega up too. You didn't keep him up here too long. That's what did it.
We like Mac, but no, it wasn't me.
And I gotta admit, I do like Gangsta Grandma Sedated. She's way better.
I gotta go. That ain't gonna happen for long. I gotta go. I'll say this though. I didn't take MAGA Reacts down. The app did. So MAGA Reacts would have probably been up here longer. But no, the app took them down, which was odd. That's never happened with MAGA Reacts. I'm in Toronto, and even I have a Glock 21. Didn't you guys just have a major event there in Montreal there, Dr. Mantis? You guys don't normally have mass shootings or whatever. You had one in Montreal, was it yesterday or the day before? Killed a couple cops or something like that? I was surprised to see that coming out of Canada. I'd recommend people stay away from the United States for the time being for their safety. It says uranium. Time being, whatever, it's safe to come back. That ain't gonna go nowhere. You can stay away from the United States now because of our issues and come back in 2036. It ain't gonna be no better. Unless some kind of major change happens, it ain't gonna be no different in 2036 than it is in 2026. So in the comment section, and our senior citizens on Social Security that worked hard all their lives, not getting hardly anything, but I gave these illegal immigrants way more than our senior citizens on Social Security. Huh? I can't speak on that because I think the right side of the aisle believes that the illegal immigrants are getting way more tax money than they actually are. There's a lot of illegal immigrants that work under the table and pay taxes, and they don't get none of their money back. So they probably cover a lot of the folks you think you're helping. There's a large portion of the illegal immigrant community that are working for cheaper than the labor laws allow. So Americans are hiring them for less than they should be earning. And then if they're using a fake ID or a fake social security number or something, taxes are coming out of their check that they can't file income tax at the end of the year. And there's a ton of illegal immigrants that are doing that. So for every one you find on welfare, there's probably one of those that's paying for it. Not to mention all the extra money they're making corporations by allowing the corporations to pay them less than the labor laws allow. So I don't think the illegal immigrants are as big of a financial burden on this country as many of you folks on the right claim they are. Because they're here working as an invitee or an invitation. Corporations want that cheap labor. But you guys on the right make it sound like they did all the work, snuck here on their own, and forced somebody to hire them. No, the corporations want them people to work. They want that cheap labor. They want those folks. And you don't hear anybody on the right suggesting that the corporations that hired them should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. All you got to do, under the Trump administration, a lot of this has been gotten under control. But under the Biden administration, when you claim there was open borders, or under Obama or Bush, all you got to do is catch one of them running through the Rio Grande or whatever the case may be, and tell them, we'll work on getting you a green card and letting you stay, but you work for us now. One of the conditions of you being able to stay is you have to go around America and try to get a job under the table and let the employer know you are an illegal immigrant and get them to agree to pay you under the table. And then you just walk out of the business once he's offered you a job and come back to the van and talk to us. We'll take it from there. And then we'll have you shipped on to another city and do it somewhere else. If they were doing that, you would get rid of the illegal immigration problem. If they were treating employers that hire illegals like we do drug dealers, because that's how they catch drug dealers, is they send folks in there to pretend like they want to buy it, and then the person comes out and they go in there and they storm the place and they arrest the drug dealers. If they were doing that to businesses, you would really reduce the amount of American businesses that hire them. But the right don't want to do that. The right wants to only go after the illegals and leave the employers untouched. You know why? Because many of the employers are donors, lobbyists, and right-wingers themselves. So they let them get away with it. Walmart had a history of hiring illegals. So did Tyson Foods. A long history of doing that. You don't really hear of any significant arrests amongst the administration or amongst the leadership at Tyson or Walmart paying the price for hiring them. They got a long history of doing that shit. So we just pretend like the illegal immigrants are just navigating the system all by themselves. Any American that hires these folks are co-conspirators. You guys talk about sanctuary cities all the damn time. You don't say nothing about all of the folks that are hiring them. Because the sanctuary cities, you perceive them as being Democrat and liberals. But the employers that may be Republican, you're letting them get away with this all day, every day. You don't want to solve the illegal immigration problem. You just want to go after the illegal immigrants. If you really wanted to solve it, you would go after the people that are hiring them. It would be pretty easy to do that. You could find no shortage of illegal immigrants if you offered them a green card, just like you offer drug users a lesser sentence to turn in drug dealers. You can find millions of them that'll do that. You would find the same number of illegal immigrants. We'll work on getting you a green card, but you got to help us catch people. Or when you catch someone running across the Rio Grande, many of them already got phone numbers and fucking addresses of people that they got a job already lined up. They don't caught many illegal immigrants with their resumes and job numbers already on them. Okay, once you get that information, go follow up with that company he was going to that was going to hire him. They don't want to do that. You don't hear Trump saying shit, all that talk about illegal immigrants. You don't hear him saying a damn thing about corporations. Never. He's been on the scene for 10 years. You don't hear him bragging about any corporation that got stormed or a bunch of people got arrested for hiring illegals. Now, I know ICE has done that a few times now in the last year or so. ICE has done that. But you still don't hear Trump bragging about it. You don't hear him say nothing about that. He'll tell you all about illegal immigrants that were caught committing crimes, DUI, driving a truck and hurt somebody, Lagan Riley's killer. He'll tell you all about the illegal immigrant that done something wrong. What about the American that you caught hiring 40, 50 of them, 200 of them? You don't say nothing about that because a lot of them are Republicans, campaign donors, and people that may actually have done business with him in the past. I don't believe they really want to get rid of it like that. Looking in the comments here, we conservative Republicans focus on free trade, fiscal restraint, and limited government. The true conservative Republicans, Trump kind of turned to the MAGA into the Reagan era. Yeah, John Oval, I don't believe President Trump is limited government whatsoever. President Trump probably represents big government more than any liberal you can come up with. Last I heard, he's even starting to try to tell television shows what guests they can have on. He is big government incarnate. So your whole mantra of, Democrats are for big government, Republicans are for small government, you lost that when you put Trump in there. Talking about nationalizing elections and Republicans being in control of them. I mean, just from the Oval Office, he's running the whole country. Congress and the Senate are pretty much uninvolved. So, yeah, you lost the whole small government versus big government argument once you elected Trump. That dude is about government as big as possible. I mean, he would like to run the country solely by himself if you gave him the opportunity. That's what I see. Looking in the comments, they are going to get debanked soon. Executive order a few weeks ago. What are you talking about, Larry? I don't get that one. Our senior citizens, poor middle class, should be getting at least $7,000 a month, but they gave the illegal immigrants $13,000 and $5,000 in food stamps. Where the hell? You really believe that? You really believe an illegal immigrant is getting $13,000 a month and $5,000 in food stamps, Wally? You tell me you don't believe no shit like that. That's insane. Ain't nobody getting no $13,000 a month. What I think you guys try to do is find, and I don't even know if you can find one case of that shit. But what you guys do is you'll find one incredibly egregious case and try to suggest that everybody is living like that. You really think illegal immigrants are, on average, 10% of them, 20% of them, 30% of them are getting that kind of money? That ain't happening to nobody and nowhere. Let me go back to the box. And did I hit something? All right, I don't stop this.